Welcome to Your In Depth, where we walk through and break down our favorite fictional universes. Today we're hopefully finishing up Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. I think this will probably be our part 5, but we're hoping to wrap this up. Kind of a unique and special episode today because we are in person. And if you heard that, I just chucked a wadded up napkin at Evan, and it did hit directly on the microphone, so you probably heard it.
Evan dodged the napkin gracefully behind the microphone. Anyway,
though, yeah, so hopefully this will be wrapping up this movie, and initially we thought that this would be our the end of our coverage, but we'll probably end up doing Rings of Power.
Yeah.
But either way.
And just remember, everybody, drive safe. Don't.
That might keep that one out of there. But we did just, we're together because I drove out here to Ohio. We went to a comedy show together, which was really fun. And staying out here for the weekend. So thought we'd record, but
hopefully get back into the podcast swing.
Yeah, and
We've
something
been out
else
for a while.
Yeah, and something else that sorry, I'm jotting something down earlier that Evan said. Check out the Patreon edition to hear that. Sorry. Okay. On track. Something, just kind of an update for the podcast. Obviously, we haven't been recording much. I kind of bit off a little more than I can, not necessarily that I can chew, but that I can adequately uphold while also doing this podcast. There's a couple other projects either way. So hopefully maybe Evan will do the editing now for this, and we can dedicate some time each week to actually have, recordings and
keeping everything in.
Yeah, please don't do that. But hopefully we'll be having more uploads moving forward is what I'm trying to say. But that's the only news that I have. I don't think there's anything really Lord of the Rings news-wise. There was that animated show coming up, or that animated movie with the lady who plays Éowyn narrating it, returning her as her role, in that, returning to the role, I should say. But I haven't really heard much more about it. Sometime coming up, Return to Moria, that game will be coming, but we still don't have a release date on that. So
I did see something for summertime this year for that.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how accurate that was.
For the movie or for the game?
The game.
Okay.
Return to Moria, as well as just double checking right now. It's just kind of theorized that season 2 of Rings of Power will most likely be 2024. There's not been any actual, expect it now type deal.
Yeah.
It has been renewed for a second season, so that's already been confirmed. And we just don't really have a time frame of when that's going to be released.
Okay. Yeah. But, I don't know. I feel like this is probably going to be a longer recording. So I think we'll just go ahead and get on into it. Before we do, just go ahead and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'd love to have the live stream, if we reach, 25?
Yeah.
Or did we lower it? Initially it was 25. Did we lower it?
I think we lowered it to 10 because no one goes and leaves reviews.
Yeah. Okay. Well, either way, go ahead and leave a review. I think that, maybe 10. You can also leave ratings on Spotify, but it's not quite the same. But either way, I mean, it'd help either way.
I don't think we put it to 10 because we currently have 10 right now.
Do we?
Or we have 11. Sorry.
Do we? Really?
Yeah.
What was the most recent one? Was that Nori?
Yeah.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, so we already announced that one. We will read your review on the podcast, so you'll be able to hear us address whatever you said. Take that as you want it.
As long as it's appropriate.
Well, I don't think you can post if it's too inappropriate. And I mean, we'd say, I don't know, we'd read it. Either way, definitely need to get back into I don't know. I feel rusty, you know?
Yeah. I'll just jump in with a summary then.
Yeah, go ahead and summarize what has led up to this point, and then we'll get going with, it's right about 2 hours and 57 minutes onward. Yeah. And once again, since it's been a while, if you listen to it as it comes out, we are covering the extended edition. But either way, go.
So all the way up into the point where we're at, I'm not going to go over episodes or movies 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
We've got full coverage on those. If you want kind of an in-depth on that, go listen to those. But in terms of the third movie, basically what we're looking at here, we're picking up right when Pippin finds Merry on the fields of Pelennor, where the battle for Minas Tirith is happening. Shortly after, like a couple days or a day or so after the battle concludes at Minas Tirith, within the city and out in the fields in front of. But leading up to this, we've had per the movies, right? We've had the deaths of Saruman and Grima at the very beginning. Per the books, they survive till towards the end. With that, we've seen, Rohan celebrating their victory at Helm's Deep from the end of the second movie. But, getting that news that with Pippin picking up the Palantir, that weird, dark orb that can communicate and whatnot, and he had that kind of communication with Sauron. And Sauron kind of ended up revealing some of his plans unintentionally to Pippin, showing that he's going to be striking at Minas Tirith. So with that, Gandalf and Pippin head to Minas Tirith to make sure the city's prepared for war. With that as well, we do see during that time, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are still with the Rohirrim in Edoras, the capital of Rohan, basically waiting for the beacons of Minas Tirith to be lit for like an official call for aid from Rohan. Though, personally, I don't know why you'd wait for an official call for aid. Like, you're supposed to be allies, you should just go, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But they wait for that, and throughout the time at Minas Tirith, Pippin gets sent to light the beacons. Gandalf sends him to, climb up the side stealthily and light the beacons. Getting them lit. We see the
chain.
The chain is kind of like a montage, right, of all the different beacons.
Well, I mean, yeah, because we did see, like, as they lit, as it, like, forms the whole line.
Yeah, up in the mountain ranges and whatnot, with them calling for aid. And Aragorn telling Theoden he summons the Riders of Rohan to meet at Dunharrow, which is a point. It's not halfway between Rohan and Gondor, but it's like a fairly big staging ground where they can assemble all their forces and get number counts and all that kind of stuff before pressing on to Minas Tirith. That happens. Rohan gathers roughly 6,000 riders from across Rohan and the people they have left alive after their war with Saruman and his Uruk-hai. And they ride to the aid of Gondor, leading to the Battle of Minas Tirith and Pelennor Fields. In the meantime, we have Frodo, Sam, and Gollum, right, who are continuing to travel towards the secret stairs that Gollum mentions at the end of the second movie, and he mentions it a couple times again at the beginning of this movie, as like a secret way into Mordor, because they initially in the second movie tried to go through the Black Gates, didn't work because, orcs are watching, surprise, surprise, So they continue making their way towards this hidden stairs that Gollum's talking about, and we do see them go up the stairs, with Gollum playing on Frodo's vulnerabilities, his weakening mind from his battle with the ring, and whatnot. To a point where he tricks Frodo into thinking that Sam has thrown the last of their food away. And Frodo sends Sam off, tells him to go back home, go back to the Shire,
Go on, get lost.
Yeah.
Go on home, Yeller.
But with that, Frodo and Gollum make their way into the caves that are supposed to lead through the mountains.
Crazy. I thought they made their way downtown. I'm tired. Go ahead.
And with that, Gollum, with his plans to take back the ring, goes off ahead of Frodo through the different turns and whatnot within these cave systems. Frodo getting lost, and we see Shelob, the giant spider who resides there. And there's a little bit of I wouldn't even call it a battle because it's just Frodo running from Shelob.
Yeah, that's
we do see Frodo use the
Light of Elendil.
Yes, Light of Elendil.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I knew how it was pronounced. That was genuinely a tongue twist, like a screw up. It wasn't me just mispronouncing it. I mean, it was, but just proceed. God.
We do see him use the Light of Elendil that he received from Galadriel way back in the first movie.
Right.
Which kind of rebuffs Shelob a little bit for him to kind of get back up on his feet and start running. He does get captured by Shelob, being poisoned by her stinger, wrapped up in webs.
Right. Really quick, I know that this is not in any way related, and it's just, I mean, it kind of is, but it's an interruption to you. Have you seen that meme where it was when they're all receiving the gifts and Gimli asks for hair, upon her head, and he was he said, all that I ask is a single strand or something. She's like, well, instead of giving him 3, she gives him 3,000 or something, and it cuts, and it's just her with this Photoshop bald head, and then the sides are still there, so it's just she looks like it's I don't know, it's dumb, but it's funny. Anyway, my mind just went straight to that when you mentioned that scene, so I know. Anyway, go ahead.
But yes, Frodo gets captured by Shelob. He gets stung by her stinger, wrapped up in the webs. But before Shelob can do anything with Frodo, Sam shows up because he has found the remainder of their food further down the steps and realizes what Gollum has done.
Right.
And, turns around, starts heading back up the stairs to try and rescue Frodo. So we do see Sam battle Shelob with Sting, as well as his own blade that he received from Aragorn back in the first movie. Mm-hmm. With him not killing Shelob, but hurting her enough that Shelob flees back into her caves. But before he can do anything with Frodo, he thinks Frodo's dead, and we see some orcs come down and actually take Frodo, and Sam overhears them saying that he was stuck by Shelob's stinger.
Yeah, he's still
not
alive,
dead, type of deal. And that part of the movie right there with Frodo and Sam is basically happening at the same time as
the battle.
Yeah. So the scene where we're picking up on with Pippin finding Merry on Pelennor Fields is basically happening at the same time as Frodo having been taken by these orcs. And so, when we start the movie, covering where we're at, we jump right into, it cuts from Pippin finding Merry over to Sam staging his rescue attempt for Frodo. Mm-hmm. And the place that Frodo is taken to, I'm kind of just jumping right into the opening scenes of where we're going.
That's fine.
The place that Frodo is taken to is called Cirith Ungol. It is a fortress within Mordor, right there, as you can see in the movie, right there, kind of in one of the valleys of the mountain ranges that surround Mordor. It's kind of like a bulwark to block that valley. And if you actually look at the map of Middle Earth, you do have Minas Morgul, where they initially climbed the stairs. Mm-hmm. Right there, kind of the very outer part of the mountain ranges as a forward bulwark. Then you have Cirith Ungol further back on the back end of the mountain ranges, almost as if the valley opens up. Mm-hmm. Right, so it's kind of a forward defensive position. backward defensive position in case the first one is taken. And so we do get a shot of it zooming in and kind of comes into one of the topmost towers where we see Frodo not quite naked, like butt naked, but like he's wearing some pants and he has some really disgusting looking rope binding his arms.
Yeah, his dinger's out. I don't know why I called it that. Is that even a is that even a term for it?
I don't think so.
You knew what I meant.
I mean, did, but...
and it sounded funny, but like genuinely, I don't think that that's actually.
But what we can see here as it comes into Frodo, it does show him with pants on at this point.
No, it doesn't.
It does in the movie.
His cock's a flopping, man.
But basically what's happening here is the orcs, or more correctly, the uruks, because you have, I think I've said before, you have a difference between orcs, urukai, and uruks.
Right.
And so at Cirith Ungol, there's a split of orcs and uruks. Uruks being more powerful, stronger.
I know
probably more savage as well.
So I know that this is me interjecting, and it part of it is intentional because of how often you interrupt me. But have I ever pointed out that I feel like Uruk just sounds like Squidward choking on a fork?
I think you did when we were covering
familiar.
the two towers when I was talking about the Urukai.
Yeah.
And doing I think I talked a little bit about like the difference between Urukai and Uruks and orcs and goblins and whatnot. But we see an Uruk and an orc going through Frodo's possessions.
Right.
Right. They've got like his shirt, his bag, a bunch of different stuff they're tearing through. At one point, we see them arguing over his mithril shirt.
Yeah, they're basically like arguing over who gets what.
Yeah. And so the one of them, I'm trying to remember which one it is. I'm trying to turn on my subtitles real quick.
Okay.
So the Uruk, which if you're looking at watching the movie, it's the bigger one of the two, right? The orc has like the greenish skin, whereas the Uruk has like almost like a brownish gray skin, kind of color to him. So the Uruk, the bigger one of the two, wants the shiny shirt, as he calls it, for himself, whereas the orc is basically like, no, it's going to the Great Eye, aka the Eye of Sauron,
right?
Along with all of the other possessions, and so like at this point, Sauron knows that a hobbit has the ring, and his orcs and uruks have captured a hobbit. Now Sauron may not know exactly what a hobbit is, but he knows someone of roughly this size, roughly this, dimensions or whatever you want to call it, measurements, what have you, a description of what a hobbit is. And so his orcs and uruks have captured one. And so they're just bringing everything that this hobbit has to Sauron for Sauron to inspect to see if the ring is there. And with one of the uruks wanting to keep a shiny shirt, well, they're looking for something shiny. That's probably a big no-go, because for all the orcs know, that might be what Sauron's looking for. It's shiny, it's very expensive, it's, and they start arguing, and a brawl breaks out between the two of them.
Yeah, and
arguing over this shirt. And we can see Frodo kind of comes to at this point as well, and he's kind of feeling around for where the ring went, as he does not have it anymore.
Right. They are kind of, like you said, a brawl kind of kicks out.
Yeah.
The Uruk kicks the orc down kind of like a hole. It's pretty well the entrance to that top tower. But down that, they fall down to other orcs or uruks, whatever, big group.
Both,
The larger one, the Uruk, then shouts down at the others and says, "He tried to kill me, kill him," basically. And then a huge fight breaks out. Orcs are falling off towers.
Yeah.
And they just start killing each other. Like there's a whole like fight just breaking out amongst all these
And
guys.
it basically breaks out, because it's not even just orcs versus uruks in this fight either.
No, it's like everybody against everybody.
It's like small groups of orcs against other small groups of orcs and uruks, small groups of uruks versus other groups of orcs and uruks. Like it's like 4 or 5 of them band together and fight everybody else.
Yep.
It's basically like a battle royale, like a 5 person team battle royale at this point, because when it comes to orcs and uruks and even goblins to an extent, not so much with urukai because they're the way that they're made from Saruman, they've got a little more intelligence to them, a little more strategy and whatnot to them. But when it comes to like orcs and uruks, mainly a little bit in goblins, unless they have some like oversight, they have some sort of leader present. They will fight just to fight. Yeah. They will cannibalize on each other. is what will happen. And so like orcs were there, orcs and uruks were here before Sauron took power, right? And so as I've said before, the first orcs or uruks came from elves being captured and tortured and disfigured and whatnot, and their minds being messed with and what have you. And so orcs and uruks, they will fight just to fight. Like they have like, they're like the definition of like that pent up aggression. Yeah. No like part in their brain that stops them from doing from doing what just comes to mind. They have to have some sort of external force to keep them in check. Otherwise, they don't form these large armies like we see in the movies or read about in the books. Yeah. Because they can't organize very well on their own. They'll get into like small war bands of maybe upwards of 20 or 30, at the most. But going much higher than that, it just kind of breaks down and they just start fighting each other, whether it be for food or who's in charge or just because they're off and they want to kill something. Yeah. Yeah. And so we see that happen here. They don't have any sort of leadership. They don't have any sort of like one guy in control. So as soon as conflict arises, no matter how small,
they just break out and just let it all go.
No hold barred,
Yeah, nothing held back.
They just go for it. And we see it happen. As you said, we see like orcs and uruks getting like kicked off of the walls and falling down. And at one point you see an orc grab like this giant, like almost like a piece of meat still on the bone and starts whacking other orcs and uruks with it. They just grab whatever they can and start swinging. They don't care as long as they can kill stuff. Right. And so, this whole thing breaks out, and it's just once some of them see others fighting, they're like, yeah, let me get on that. And they charge in and join the brawl. And it turns into this fight of what are supposed to be allies. Yeah. Right.
I mean, they're supposed to be.
Not even necessarily allies. Soldiers in one army. Yeah. Right? Because it's not even like 2 different armies. It's one army. Yeah. Soldiers in one army just fighting each other up and down this fortress. It's not like confined to one courtyard or up on one wall. It's across the entire thing.
Right. Meanwhile, we do see, and it kind of cuts ahead a little bit, but Sam is making his way up that tower, trying to get up to Frodo. And as he's working his way up there, he's just passing a lot of dead orcs and uruks. Yeah. Like, he's passing the aftermath of this just pure brawl, chaos, slaughter kind of thing.
And I kind of get the impression, right, or trying to kind of put a timeline to it, right? Sam is coming up on Cirith Ungol. As we see him first see the fortress, fighting has to still be happening because he can't arrive too long after, because when we see Frodo next. Right, yeah. Right? Yep. Because when we see Sam going, like you said, he's passing a bunch of dead orcs and uruks. And he's got Sting out, and he's got his sword from Aragorn on his hip, and he can pull it with ease at any time he needs to. But not too much time can pass, because as he makes his way up, we do see him cut through like 4 or 5 uruks. And then it jumps to Frodo, who is still conscious. And the orc that was kicked down the ladder is back up there in the tower, and he's like about to kill Frodo. He says something like, "I'm going to stick you like a stuck pig," or something like that.
Yeah.
And Sam shows up behind him and kills him.
Wait, yeah.
The
on
only
his
way-
you're not to that part yet. You're just saying that the timeline-wise.
Yeah. The only way I could see a little bit of time passing here is if the Uruk that was still up in the tower, the one that hollers down and basically starts the whole brawl,
Yeah.
right, is if he climbed down the ladder to join the fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the only way I could see it happening, which, I mean, would not be out of line for orcs or uruks because they just like a good brawl. But that's the only way I could see that happening.
Yeah. But, yeah, as Sam's working his way up the tower, he does eventually get to Frodo and like you just said, kills the one that's up there. But before that, he did kill 3 orcs. Or Oryx. I don't know. I didn't pay attention. I didn't make note of them.
Yeah,
whatever they are.
I'm looking real quick.
Kills,
they look like Oryx. They look bigger, a little stronger, a little bigger.
But either way, he fights him and kills him. And as he's doing so, he says, basically, like, this is for Frodo, this is for the Shire, and this is for his old gaffer, as he put it, which his old man, right, his father.
Yeah,
I looked it up. That's basically what it was.
Yeah,
but like,
it's just a term that some hobbits use for like their old man.
I tried looking into it. There wasn't any like history between like he's like getting revenge on him because they did something to his dad. He was just saying this is for everybody that I love.
Basically, yeah, because like again, as we see at the very beginning of the Hobbit movies, right, or the Unexpected Journey, and as we see at the very beginning of Fellowship of the Ring, like hobbits don't interact with the outside world.
No, they're just very self.
Yeah, the most we see of hobbits interacting with the outside world is in Bree, which is fairly close to the Shire anyways. So yeah, like nothing would have happened to like Sam's father for him to say that out of like a revenge type of deal or an Avenger type of response to it. The only thing we really see within Middle Earth of like hobbits fighting is when there's like it's somewhere in the lore like a goblin army invades and tries taking the land of the Shire and the surrounding land and whatnot, and the hobbits fight back. Yeah. Which we do get a little bit of kind of like exaggerated story in An Unexpected Journey with Gandalf and Bilbo talking about that's how the game of golf was invented. With hitting the hobbit or the goblin king's head off of his body, sailing 100 yards down a rabbit hole. No, that's what he's referring to. He's referring to that battle way back when. Yeah. But that's really the only, as far as I'm aware, that's kind of really the only instance of seeing like hobbits fight. Okay. Until we get to like Bilbo going with Thorin's company, and then we've got the 4 hobbits in Lord of the Rings going with the Fellowship. Yeah.
But as you said, Sam gets to the top and skewers that one Uruk that is like threatening to stick Frodo. Frodo, he gets cut free, but then he apologizes to Sam, saying that he lost the ring. Yeah. But Sam reveals to him that no, he didn't. He has the ring because he took it only for safekeeping, which we do see then that look of distrust. Yeah. What?
Once you're done.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If I motion to my phone, it's like once you're done, I got a thing.
Yeah, I get you. Okay. Similar to when we're recording over Discord or whatever we do, I am just going to look here and ignore what you just did. And you're just going to have to eventually interrupt me, and then I'll get mad at you, and we'll just, it'll be fine. But that kind of seed that, Gollum had placed is you can kind of see it twisting, like, he's definitely distrustful. Like, he's like, he just wants it for himself. Like, why does he have it? But he does give it to Frodo, and he takes it again, saying that it's his burden. And the ring will destroy Sam.
Yeah, and
I'm just going to keep talking. I actually don't have anything to say. Go ahead.
Even in that scene as well, though, we do see, because like you were saying, Sam does hand it back. Yeah. But we do see a brief moment where Sam kind of like recoils as Frodo goes to take it. So it's like, you can see the ring influencing Sam as well. For the short time Sam is holding it.
Is it that, or is it him seeing Frodo, how he's reacting towards it and being hesitant because of the damage that it's causing on his friend?
Truthfully, I would say it's the ring influencing Sam. Because the only hobbits that we see, or the only people we see within Middle Earth that have any sort of resistance to the ring, right, is Bilbo and Frodo. They have some sort of like almost like natural resistance to it. Because like Bilbo holds on to it for 60 years. Yeah. And he's still, he's Bilbo. Yeah. He still does his thing and hangs out and doesn't do anything evil or turn or anything like that. And Frodo, for I think it's like 17 years, I think it is, from when he gets the ring to the start of them heading to Rivendell. Mm-hmm. Frodo holds on to it for 17 years and doesn't go bad and doesn't have like the negative effects we're seeing now. But those are the only two. And Sam doesn't have the ring for more than a day, right? And so like, I assume that since Bilbo had some sort of like natural resistance to it, Frodo would have some sort of natural resistance as well because they're related. Something in their genes or what have you kind of gives somewhat of a resistance, but Sam's not part of their family. So like the ring, I would think would influence him a lot faster than Frodo or Bilbo, and because like we see the same thing with Boromir. Yeah. Boromir never touches the ring, and we see the influence it has on him.
That's fair. I don't know if okay, so I can maybe on that, but I don't think I agree with that being why he's hesitant. It's such a minuscule detail to try to get hung up on. I don't know. It's whatever. But
like, personally, I do think it's just an instance of showing the ring's influence on someone.
Yeah,
and how quickly it can happen.
It's possible.
Because even back in the Fellowship of the Ring, we see a smidgen of it when Frodo offers the ring to Aragorn.
Yeah,
Aragorn kind of like hovers over to grab it for a second, but then he's like, "No, this is yours. I'm not taking it." You know. So I think it's just another iteration, a small iteration of showing that the ring can influence people, whether they touch it or not. If they do touch it, if they're holding it for 8 hours, it can have an influence on them.
Yeah,
it's that powerful of an artifact or an object.
Maybe.
The other thing that I wanted to point out as well is while this is happening, we do see that Uruk that kicked the orc down the hole for the tower. We do see him leaving Cirith Ungol with Frodo's mithril shirt. And it specifically, and this is an extended edition scene, it specifically zooms in on the mithril shirt that he's holding as he's fleeing from Cirith Ungol.
I know that it isn't like it ends up elsewhere, but I didn't, I guess, realize that it emphasized that.
Well, and we will see the mithril shirt a little later on.
That's what I'm saying. I knew that it left this tower, and I knew somehow it got there, but I didn't recognize that this emphasized it.
The scene where we see the mithril shirt later on is another extended edition scene. So, I mean, in terms of extended edition scenes, it would make sense to show that it actually does leave Cirith Ungol.
Yeah.
So I can see why they put that in there, and since they didn't include the other scene in the base movie, the theatric cut, I could see why they would take this scene out as well. Because then it'd be like, okay, well, we saw it leave Cirith Ungol. Well, where'd it go? We just never see it again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But we do see it leave Cirith Ungol with the Uruk that basically started the conflict.
Yeah.
And both of these, this orc and Uruk, have names. I want to say the orc's name is like Shagrat.
I'm going to call him Unga.
I'm trying to think of the Uruk's name.
Bunga. Their group, them two together, I'm going to refer to as Unga Bunga.
But I think it's like Shagrat and...
Meshach.
Oh, gosh, no. I can't think of the other one. If I remember it, I'll mention it, but I'm drawing a blank on it now.
But anyway, Frodo and Sam gear up like orcs and proceed onward because they don't have... Well, Frodo doesn't have his clothes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, really, Frodo's stuff should be there in the tower, except for the mithril shirt.
Would think so.
Yeah, because it specifically shows that Uruk leaving Cirith Ungol with only the mithril shirt.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
It's like, why didn't he just grab his clothes?
Yeah. But as they're moving, they come across, like, kind of up on a hill, and they see so many orcs and Uruks. There's so many.
Yeah.
They also do see the Eye of Sauron up in the tower, the other tower, you know.
Yeah, and because as they're looking down, like you said, they see, like, the whole army. It's not that they're seeing, like, the individuals. They just see, like, all the torches and campfires spread out across the land of Mordor between them and Mount Doom, which and as well we can see off in the distance, as well as the Eye of Sauron off in the distance.
Yeah, Frodo's bothered by this, kind of, you know, is like he doesn't think they're going to make it, but Sam basically says 1 foot in front of the other.
Yeah, because they're kind of like up on a hilltop, and he's basically just like, let's just get down the hill first and see what happens.
Yeah, like let's
like you said, one foot in front of the other. Just gotta play it by ear. At this
what's
point.
the old Christmas movie where it was that cable wasn't actually plugged in all the way, but we still have audio, so that was I'm skeptical on that. But anyway, there was an old one. It was like one of those like a year without a Santa Claus or something. Like those like animated like puppet. They're not animated, but the puppets that's like stop motion, and it was just like. 1 foot in front of the other. I don't know. There's a whole song about it. It's never mind. Moving on. We cut over to Gandalf and company. I'm just going to do that. So listing everybody that's there. Plus it's a whole army. So, But obviously I would have only listed key characters regardless.
Right. Well,
Gandalf says that he can no longer see Frodo. Like, because, he's always kind of got that a bit of an awareness because of who he is. But he can no longer see
almost
him.
like a little bit of like an omnipresence to him.
Yeah. But he can no longer see Frodo.
Yeah. And, I mean, this scene is basically the trio, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, Gandalf, and Éomer right now. So there's not too many in this scene specifically. You're probably thinking of the next scene right after, would be my guess.
Oh, in this? Yeah.
Yeah, because this is basically just like not necessarily a meeting of the leaders, right? Because there'd still be, if it was, there'd be other like captains or whatnot of Rohan that would be there, and like captains and whatnot of Gondor as well. We'd probably see some other like people here. This is basically just like the people that need to know this are here.
Yeah.
And since Theoden is now dead because of his death at the Battle of Pelennor Fields,
right,
Éomer is next in line for the throne of Rohan.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that Éomer is here.
Yeah.
We do have some other like named figures like Éowyn and Faramir and whatnot, but as we saw earlier in the movie, both of them are injured.
Right.
So like they wouldn't be present for a meeting like this, as they would need to be recovering.
Yeah. Gandalf starts saying like that he sent Frodo to his death, kind of showing a bit of doubt. But Aragorn reassures Gandalf, saying that they can draw out Sauron's forces by marching on the Black Gate, kind of causing a diversion, so that obviously his eye is elsewhere, and that then they can kind of free up some of potential attention on Frodo and Sam.
Yeah, and because Sauron with his forces is in kind of a sticky situation, right? Because Sauron sends well over 100,000 orcs and uruks to Minas Tirith to try and take it and all that kind of stuff. And his army's killed to the man, right? Or to the orc, more correctly. So he loses like, I don't know what kind of percentage of his forces, a huge amount of his troops. And so the only troops Sauron has left in terms of the movie that we know of is his troops in Mordor. If you look at like the expanded world and lore and whatnot, Sauron does send like Haradrim with like the big elephants and whatnot. He sends forces up to attack Erebor as well as Mirkwood. And so like up there is fighting going on between the elves and the dwarves allying with each other against Sauron's forces. And in those battles, we do see the death of it's Bard's great-grandson. I'm drawing a blank on his name. So it's like Bard, because he becomes King Bard after, at the end of The Hobbit. But his grandson is king at this point, 'cause, 60 years have passed. And so there we see the death of the King of Dale, but we also see the death of King Dane, who takes over becoming the king of Erebor and the dwarves.
Yep.
Both of them die at those the battles there as other forces of Mordor are assaulting Erebor. But they do like push the forces back. So like right around this time, with the Battle of Minas Tirith ending, we also see like if you read the other books of the expanded lore and whatnot, you would see you would read about like the Battle of Erebor, as well as the battles for Mirkwood ending as well. Further up in like I said, Erebor and Mirkwood we see in The Hobbit. And so like all of this kind of ends right around the same time. So he's taken a bunch of land, right? He sent his forces out. He was taking parts of Mirkwood. He was taking parts of Esgaroth, which is where Dale and Lake Town are located. he's pushed across. He's taken Osgiliath. He's taken Ithilien, where the Ithilien Rangers come in, which is the people Faramir leads the archer dudes, right?
Yeah.
He takes all of this land. He's pushing out. He's conquering. And then all of a sudden, in quick succession, he loses so much of this land that he's taken. He loses so many troops. And so he still has, I think they say roughly 10,000 soldiers or troops or orcs, whatever you want to refer to him as, still in Mordor. But compared to his overall forces, this is a huge fraction, or maybe more correctly, a small fraction of his, whichever one applies there. He's so many less troops.
Wait. You know what? I'm not going to waste brain power on it because I have very little I'm running on. Go ahead.
And so, Sauron has so few troops now. And because Gimli even makes a comment in this scene of, let him stay there, let him rot, why do we care? Right? And I think Gandalf or Aragorn says that, right now, 10,000 orcs are between Frodo and Mount Doom. And Gimli's like, oh, crap, you right.
Yeah.
And so it's yes, Sauron has been pushed back for a time, but with him being pushed back, a huge obstacle has been put in front of Frodo and Sam to try and destroy the ring.
Yeah. But Gandalf says that he doesn't think Sauron will take the bait, but Aragorn disagrees. Aragorn then goes to the, what are those things called? The seeing eye ball thingy, my bobbers.
Oh, he has.
That's actually I got it right. That's the name of it.
He's got the Palantir that they took from Saruman.
Right, Planarwort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's there in the throne room. This scene as well is another
I
extended edition
probably
scene. Yeah.
But he picks it up and reveals himself to Sauron. And by that, I mean, shows his blank. Sorry. Come on. I mean, though, reveals himself. I don't know why I didn't think of that when I wrote it down, that I should have phrased it a different way. That's just, never mind. Aragorn sees a flash of a dead Arwen, and drops the kind of the necklace thing that he's wearing, and it breaks.
It's like the even star.
Yeah.
We hear Elrond talking about it earlier in the movie of the even star is failing. Her fate is tied to the fate of the ring because she's giving up her immortality so she can be with the man she loves and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But then it cuts ahead and they're leaving Minas Tirith.
Yeah. We do actually see this scene that it shows here earlier.
Yeah.
It's like a nightmare. It's the nightmare that Aragorn is having.
Oh yeah.
Right before he goes to meet with Elrond and receives the blade that was broken.
Right. This was when he was sleeping in the bed on a Tengwar Pedic, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out them once more.
They got swords and bows and catapults, but they got Tempur-Pedic, Tengwar Pedics.
They do. They have Tengwar Pedic, Orcopedic mattress, dude. Those are the best in Middle Earth. Check them out today.
Yeah,
that's what I'm telling you, dude. You gotta use code in depth or something, and don't question the ethics. I don't know, whatever. Just get sleep easy, friend. That was the thing. We're moving ahead.
in the scene as well where he's showing himself to Sauron, one little detail I do like in the scene is that we see that ring again on Aragorn's hand that Grima tells Saruman about in the second movie, where it's got the two snakes, one devouring, one whatever.
Yeah,
I like that they keep that stuff in there. Because again, that's another one of those small details they don't need to have in there.
Right.
So I like that they do keep that in there, and you can still see that he is wearing the van braces, the gauntlets that he took from Boromir after Boromir dies. He's still wearing them. As I've said before, like his homage to his
homage,
respecting. His dying actions, whatever you want to call it.
Homage.
I'm going to kill you.
Pronounce stuff right, and I won't correct you. Sorry.
Another thing I like in this scene as well is, and I don't know if you picked up on it.
Probably not, but I don't know what you're going to say.
When Aragorn shows the blade to Sauron through the Palantir, we can see a scene in the Palantir of Isildur cutting the ring from Sauron's hand.
Oh, yeah.
From that scene all the way back to the beginning of the first movie.
It's like, this is the sword, buddy. Watch out.
And it's showing that Sauron recognizes that blade. Like it's not just like just a
that.
reminder, guys. This is that blade. It's like Sauron recognizes this blade. He has a close and personal hatred for this blade.
Yeah. But we then see a scene of Eowyn and Faramir talking before he grasps her hand. So she's moved on.
Another extended scene.
Yeah. But she's moved on from Aragorn a little bit. She's catching some feelings for good old Faramir, just like his brother caught arrows. And actually, he caught arrows too. Man, these guys suck at catching arrows. Well, they're good at catching. Never mind. Also, I just sidestep because I feel like I'm all over the place. Didn't get much sleep last night, and I'm kind of at that stage where I feel slap happy, but also like that's why I've made so many jokes so far, honestly. But anyway, so just disclaimer if I'm not making sense, I'm a little bit tired, but I'm pushing through because this is fun, and I like it, and I like making stupid jokes and being dumb and making Evan mad, even though it's not really working too well. I'm gonna shut up.
This scene here as well that we're seeing of Faramir and Eowyn. Mm-hmm. Obviously, another scene that's in the books, right?
Okay,
so it's an extended scene, and it's in the book. It's like a full chapter of like them meeting each other and starting to like fall in love with each other type of deal, which they kind of show with the holding hands. But it's one of those scenes. It's like. Yeah, it's kind of nice that they put it in there for the extended edition, but it's definitely not needed whatsoever for like the movie. And so like even if they kept this out of the extended edition, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
We cut over to Sam and Frodo again, and they see the orcs, whatever the groups, the bad guys, or as Evan called earlier, the baddies, which I don't. Don't use that phrase. Don't use that word. But they see... I couldn't bring myself to. I was just about to use it just as a joke. But they see them moving out of Mordor, and some come up to pass by where they're at.
Yeah, and this part, too, where we see the orcs and whatnot moving past where Frodo and Sam are, another extended edition scene.
Yeah, I can see it.
In the theatric version, it literally goes from... Sam saying let's just make it down the hill first to all of the orcs already gone. It just jumps past this whole part.
But some of them pass by them and they get pulled up to join the march, and note that they are still dressed like orcs, which still, I mean, size and stuff, you would think that whatever, but... Right.
Well, and because like orcs vary in size and, whatnot, more so than like orcs or urukai. So, like, having shorter, kind of stumpier orcs is not terribly uncommon. Mm-hmm. And so, like, even when you see them, like, as they're being forced along with the orcs, like, you can see some of the orcs are right around the same height as them, maybe, like, a couple inches taller. So, it's not terribly out of place for, like, why don't the orcs realize they're not orcs, Because, like, orcs are smelly, they're stinky, they're disgusting, they're gross, they looked terrible, right? Frodo and Sam have not showered or bathed in how long?
So they also
they're probably
smell.
Just as ripe. And, with their disguises on, us watching, we can kind of see, like, the skin around their eyes. And, but in terms of, like, troops moving, like, no one's going to take the time to look under the helmet to see if you're really an orc or not because they're just being forced along via whips.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Let's see, where was I? So they're dragging them along, and the orcs stop for inspection, and one of the big, just brutes notices Sam and starts moving towards him.
Yeah, and this specific orc is called a seer. From my understanding, the seer orcs do have a little bit of like a magic to them. Hence why it recognizes and it sees Sam and it kind of like bellows out and like starts making its way towards Frodo and Sam. Because we see it has like that milky eye. Right?
That's how I like eyes described.
Yeah. But we see it has I don't know what else to call it besides a milky eye.
Frothy.
A frothy eye. Okay.
Cloudy.
But when it sees Sam, that eye goes wide. Like, it recognizes right away. And if that one recognizes right away, why did none of the others recognize right away?
Yeah, it's
type of deal. You know,
definitely
it
got a
has
bit
some
of
sort of like almost like a true sight type of deal. Like it sees through the disguise.
Yeah.
Like instantly. So I personally, I think there's maybe not a whole lot of magic to them, just a smidgen.
Yeah.
To where they can kind of see through that.
Yeah.
And again, these are the ones that are like, as you said, they called for inspection. So these are the ones that are making sure that like the orcs are here. They've got their equipment. They don't need to be in lines because orcs don't know how to form lines. You know, just making sure that the orcs are ready to go fight. And as you said, or as I guess I kind of said, it sees the two of them and starts making its way towards them. We kind of jump back to like Aragorn and Gandalf and all of them.
There's a lot of jumping back and forth, but
in the books though, I'll just mention it now because it does jump right back to like Aragorn and all the forces of Rohan and Gondor moving in. In the books, there's a whole thing of basically this army that Aragorn is leading of Rohan and Gondor with Éomer and Legolas, Gimli, Gandalf, Merry and Pippin, everybody, as they're moving through. You stop that, Jacob. Of them moving through, and they push back through like Osgiliath and retake Osgiliath. They push through up through Ithilien, which is the land on the east side of Osgiliath, where Minas Tirith is on the west side. And it's like this whole trail of them fighting orc forces as they're falling back towards Mordor. And like there's like cavalry battles and all this other kind of stuff as they're fighting their way to the Black Gate. It's not just they waltz all on in, you know, easy peasy. Like, and the reason that we'll see so few troops at the Battle of the Black Gates is because they've had to fight all the way to reach the Black Gates. It's not like they just took like this small handful of troops, like 200 or 300 or however many there are. They had to fight all the way to the Black Gates against orcs and uruks, against stragglers of the Haradrim. And so it's like the movie, this is another one of those things where the movie does not do a very good job of showing it. Right, and I've kind of brought it up before in some other areas. This is another spot where it doesn't really do a good job of showing that just because Sauron lost at Minas Tirith doesn't mean he automatically lost all of the other land that he took. The forces of good have to fight back and take those lands because even after Sauron takes Osgiliath, even after he takes the lands of Ithilien and the different citadels and fortresses there, they're obviously going to leave forces there to garrison those places, you know, to make sure they stay in their hands. And so these guys have to fight all the way through.
As it's approaching them, though, Sam has the idea to start a fight. So him and Frodo start a fight, and in the commotion, they slip away into a tent. Now, something I didn't mention, I wrote down here. In this, there is a scene where Sam notices Frodo's neck, where the necklace is that he has the ring attached to, and his neck looks very scarred, kind of like this is having. I mean, it's obviously having an effect on him, but it's damaging him. It's like maybe just because it's pulling down like a physical weight, but just kind of like a
scarred. When I see that scene, it looks more like
burn
blisters, he's burning.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you got to think as well, right? They're in the land of Mordor, right? And what's in the land of Mordor? Mount Doom. What is Mount Doom? It's a freaking volcano. What's in volcanoes? Lava.
What's in lava? We're not continuing it.
Burnt rocks and probably mushy, globby corpses.
Yeah, what's in that? How long? Did you just see my brain short out?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
God, continue.
And so, like, during the day, and Boromir even mentions it in the Fellowship of the Ring, it's a barren wasteland of molten ash and toxic fumes. You know, it's like non-livable. And the only reason the orcs can live here is because they kill each other and cannibalize each other. Because there's no living life here besides orcs and uruks, you know? And so, like, during the day, in this hellscape, it's got to be terribly hot. It's got to be like standing in a desert at noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You know?
Yeah.
It's got to be. And we see later on while they're here, as it starts to go to quote-unquote nighttime, they're like shivering, they're freezing, which is the same thing that happens in deserts.
Yeah.
Because like quick freaking weather info for you guys. Like in deserts,
Evan
there's
is a
not a whole lot of water,
meteorologist.
so there's not a whole lot of clouds.
Uh-huh.
Believe it or not, clouds actually have a little bit to do with trapping in heat. And so when there's no clouds there, heat doesn't get trapped in. Nighttime comes, it just rises and goes away.
I want you to become a meteorologist, and I tune in every night to see you.
And
Just
so
to make fun of you, but you know.
basically the same thing is happening here, except instead of like not having clouds, they have like smoke in the air, which would rise as well with the heat. So like there's not water and smoke for anybody that didn't know. Surprise, surprise. So there's nothing to pull it down to trap the heat. So when nighttime comes, it probably gets down to like freaking 10, 15 degrees or something ridiculous like that. Hence why a little later on we see them freezing.
Yeah.
After they get away from all the oil and stuff.
But they slip away. They then, get out and head towards Mount Doom. Time passes. They do get closer. They pause, and Frodo says how much of a weight the ring is to carry.
You saying that as well as what I just saw here made me laugh.
Why?
Because watching this as they're slipping into the tent, if you look at Sam, you can still see the pots and pans attached to his waist. And it's like, I'm sorry, Sam. You guys are trying to sneak in as orcs. Why are you carrying cooking utensils?
That's funny.
Like, orcs take chunks of meat, probably of other orcs, stick them on a stick, if they can find sticks, probably weapons that they've stolen, and hang them over a fire, and that's how they cook. And they just pull it off the fire with their hands. Why are you carrying cooking utensils? And you saying that, and you saying like me seeing that, and then you saying like Frodo talking about the weight of the ring of being a burden is just like, oh yeah,
imagine
goodness.
The weight of the cooking utensils.
Imagine the weight of the pots and pans that Sam felt he needed to hold on to.
Yeah. But they do shed off the armor a little bit, and they sit. Sam notices light and beauty above the clouds of this just horrible place.
Yeah. And it's like one small little break in the smoke and ash.
Yeah. But Frodo is losing strength. I mean, he's pretty well already lost it, but he's just kind of out of it now. We cut over to Aragorn leading his men to the Black Gate. And then there's a lot of back and forth again. But then back to Frodo and Sam. Frodo is out of water, so Sam offers him his. And Frodo comments saying that there's none left for the return journey, to which Sam replies, I don't think there's going to be a return journey.
Yeah, which is... It's kind of not even kind of, it's a shift in mindset for Sam. Because earlier in the movies, I think in the second movie, Frodo mentions something about not making it back, and Sam says, no, we'll go there and back again, just like Mr. Bilbo. And Sam's kind of come to the realization now, especially after losing the food when Gollum threw it over the stairs.
Yeah.
And now having no water, Sam's come to the realization that this is a one-way trip.
Yeah. And
it's kind of funny, but kind of sad that he comes to this realization, like, right here at the end of the trip.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just kind of like that shift in mindset that we see Sam having. Which I think we see quite a bit throughout the movies. Because, like, for the longest time, Sam is he's like... I don't know if you want to call it like the joy of the group or like the hope.
Well, he's definitely the one that's more optimistic.
Yeah. And so we slowly see, if you really pay attention, you can slowly see that mindset changing in Sam as their journey progresses.
Yeah.
Especially here at the end is when we see the most drastic change.
Right. But they keep going. Frodo is clearly losing it as he's swatting at things that aren't there. And then they are almost spotted by the eye, but Frodo does this weird like little drop thing. But they fall down, they're hidden. I guess it doesn't see them.
Well, because like it's one of those things though where I have to imagine the eye does see Frodo, because it shows they have like this light that comes from the eye to kind of show its view of what it's looking at.
Yeah, it definitely seems like he sees him, but
it comes right across Frodo, and it jumps to the eye of Sauron for a second, where we see like the iris of the eye kind of like close a little bit, almost like he's zooming in through his binoculars.
Yeah, he's kind of focusing in on it.
But before Sauron can really focus in on it, Frodo does his weird collapse fall thing behind a rock.
Yeah.
to get out of view, and Sauron's gaze is redirected. As we do get a quick scene, I think right before this, of like Rohan and Gondor soldiers forming up outside of the Black Gates.
Yeah.
And so again, it like draws Sauron's gaze away from
Right.
and Sam.
And we cut over to it's Aragorn, Gandalf, Merry, Pippin, Éomer, Legolas, and Gimli. There, I thought was another one, but I don't know. But
yeah, there's one Gondor soldier that comes up with them. He's carrying the standard of Gondor.
Yeah, but was he a named one at all? Okay, then.
If he's named in the book, I don't remember.
Yeah, that's fine.
If he was named in the book, my guess would be that he would be what's his name? It's like Barathor or something like that. In the books, it talks about this guy that becomes a close friend of Pippin, is one of like the captains of the Citadel Guard.
Gotcha.
Which is like the soldiers that we see in this movie that are like standing around the tree when when Pippin and Gandalf first go to talk to Denethor. He's like a captain of that guard.
Yeah.
So if this is any named person, that would be my guess of who it is. But I don't think he's named. He's just a random Gondor soldier with the standard of Gondor.
Yeah. But Aragorn shouts over, like at the Black Gate. He says, "Let the Lord of the Black Land come forth, and let justice be upon him." And the gate opens, and out rides the mouth of Sauron.
That's what
that's his name.
Yeah.
Okay. AKA the poster child for dental care importance. But Gandalf tells him to get lost, basically. I don't know. He tells them all, like, leave this land, like, get out.
Gandalf basically, like, gives their demands to him, right?
Right. And
because Sauron has not regained his his physical form, so Sauron doesn't just come out himself. And even if he had his physical form, he wouldn't just come out himself. He would send an emissary or a spokesperson, which is the mouth of Sauron.
Right.
And the mouth of Sauron as well falls into kind of the same category as the Nazgul, as in he is a figure or a quote-unquote person that is so old that his name is not even remembered, and he has been so corrupted by Sauron that he's turned into what he is now. And while watching the movie, you can't see his eyes. He's got like metal covering his eyes, right? And he's got this big old nasty mouth with these long, sharp, nasty teeth that, like, as he talks, his gums are bleeding over.
Yeah.
And you can see, if you really look around the armor around his mouth, you can see like almost like runes carved into it, which I can only imagine, or my best guess is more of like speech, like of the
black speech.
The black speech, yes, that Gandalf talks about in the first movie, right, and that he kind of utters in Rivendell before the Fellowship is formed.
Yeah.
And so one thing with this as well is when they were filming this, they did like the makeup and the prosthetics on the actor that plays the mouth of Sauron. But after they filmed it, the editing team went in and they blew up the mouth to make it bigger and more creepy.
Yeah, I noticed that it was rather large.
Yeah, and they basically did that for like that creep factor, that like, ugh, no.
Yeah.
Type of deal.
Now, this guy, I remember seeing something where the guy who portrays the mouth of Sauron also was like significant in something else. Have you seen this?
I remember seeing something about it a while back, but I don't remember what it is.
He was also, I don't know. I'm not gonna try to search it. It'd just take too much time. Yeah.
But anyways.
Oh, apparently he's in Star Wars. Revenge of the Sith.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know who that is. But.
I remember. He plays in Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. When
I just said that.
Yeah.
You're gonna go further and say who it is, or are you just copying me and taking credit?
No, I am. I know exactly who it is.
All right, you turd.
It's that guy that Obi-Wan talks to when he first arrives at Utapau.
Tyon meant. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who it is. That guy. He has like the lines on his head that kind of go back. He's like the some sort of official for the Utapau government.
Yeah.
That's who it is.
Okay, yeah.
He's the one that he like whispers to Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's like, the Separatists are here. General Grievous is here on whatever level. And Obi-Wan kind of whispers back, like, if you have any warriors, now is the time. We're here to help type of deal. You know, that's this actor. He plays that guy in Revenge of the Sith.
See, and that was the thing. That wasn't who I had actually seen that it was. Like, there was another thing that he played, but that one's definitely the most
yeah, as soon as you said Revenge of the Sith, I was like, yes, that's what it is. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's funny.
Which is kind of funny, though, as well, because we see a couple different actors that play in Lord of the Rings and Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most iconic ones being Christopher Lee playing Saruman and Count Dooku, you know, being, I would say, the big one. But with the Mouth of Sauron, kind of going back to him, I had said that he's kind of on like in that category of the Nazgul, the ring wraiths,
Right.
Because again, in the Hobbit movies, we see Gandalf go to the tombs that were supposed to imprison the Nazgul, and Radagast shows up as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the Mouth of Sauron was in one of those tombs as well, but he falls in that same category, like I said, of being such an ancient figure, an ancient creature, person, whatever you want to call him, that his name is lost to time. No one knows what his name once was. He's been so corrupted, just like the Nazgul, they were corrupted by Sauron when they took the rings, that there is no possible way for, just like the Nazgul, there's no possible way for him to be saved. He is so corrupt and it has fallen so far. And so, even if he was given the option of like, hey, you can be free of Sauron, here's 1 bajillion% all the benefits from it and the zero negative things for it, he would still say no and stay with Sauron because he's so corrupted and so essentially so loyal to Sauron, whether it be probably not even loyalty out of fear more than anything, and like the corruption of his brain and the way he now thinks and whatnot, that like there is zero redemption for this guy.
Yeah. But the mouth, or as Dane Cook would say, Muth, says that he has a token to show them. He then pulls out the mithril and says that Frodo is dead and suffered greatly. Aragorn approaches him and just beheads him. Then states to the others, I don't believe him. And then out marches the armies. Yeah. Now, super quick, I wanted to take a break to do our ad. So let me jot down the time and play this ad for Evan. We'll insert it so you can hear it better. But either way, here we are. Do British stereotypes have absolutely nothing on you and your teeth? Are you in dire need of a teeth cleaning? Well, come on down to Dunedain Dentistry to clean them those rusty streaked chompers. Just call and get them fixed. Anyway, coming back. Thanks to that ad.
Some things just watching right here now, noticing with the Mouth of Sauron, just kind of a little more about him. Is number one, the Mouth of Sauron kind of gives this, like, who here has the authority to treat with me? Like, he's coming out as an emissary to discuss terms, that sort of thing. And Gandalf basically says, we're not treating with anybody. You are going to leave this land, or tell your master to leave these lands, never to return, take his armies with him. And that's when he pulls out the mithril shirt and throws it to him and tells him Frodo died and whatnot. But one thing I really noticed here watching it right now and kind of focusing on some things is that as he talks, his head itself really does not move to look at different people. But as they talk or they make noise, he kind of snaps to them.
Yeah.
Like he's blind, which would make sense with the armor covering his face.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And when he talks about Frodo suffering, right, at the hands of his host, like suffering all this pain and whatnot, he doesn't look like he's enjoying it. He doesn't look like he's like salivating over it like you would expect with someone that looks that creepy.
Yeah.
He almost looks kind of mournful, which is strange. It's hard to make out because we can only see his mouth,
Right.
But even the movement of the mouth, when someone is mourning or sad or something, or regrets something, or negative feelings towards something, even the mouth has different shapes and movements to it that you can recognize. And so it's this really weird thing of just watching it right now while you're grabbing your drink. It almost seems like somewhat of a sadness to him. Maybe not for Frodo specifically. Maybe the mouth of Sauron is thinking back at his own treatment, is what I'm thinking.
Maybe.
As he talks about Frodo suffering at the hands of his host, of enduring so much pain, someone so small enduring so much.
Yeah.
And he says it, as I listened, was with kind of like that hint of sadness, that hint of remembrance, like he's remembering back to his own suffering, because Sauron being who he is, 100% would have made the mouth of Sauron suffer and would have put him through excruciating pain to corrupt him and turn him. Whether it be physical pain or mental anguish or what have you, he would have. Because if you want to corrupt someone, if you want to tear them down, turn them to your side, if you're a bad guy and they're maybe not necessarily a good guy, maybe a neutral guy that you're trying to turn to your side, you have to break them down. You have to destroy who they were to turn them into what you want them to be, which is this corrupt, merciless, disgusting, gross creature.
Cool. Didn't ask. So
you, Jacob.
Sorry. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I didn't really pick up on that.
Well, because I noticed too, when Pippin and Merry are kind of like, Frodo, no, and they're like, oh, Frodo, and they kind of are like putting together what the mouth of Sauron is saying and recognizing what he's saying and coming to the assumption that Frodo's dead.
Yeah.
Right? Again, we see scenes of the mouth of Sauron where he doesn't look like he's enjoying it. He doesn't look like he's savoring the pain.
To me, it seems more like just adding to the eeriness of it, because you don't know what he's trying, like the intent is, I guess.
Right. When I'm watching and just hearing the way he says it almost seems like it's coming from like this raw place within.
Maybe.
Is what it seems like.
Maybe. I don't know. But he's beheaded. He's gone.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, at 3 hours and 19 minutes and 46 seconds, you can see Gandalf holding Merry or Pippin, whichever one, and you can clearly tell it's not them. Like, it's a child. You can tell. It kind of looks like a messed up child. Like, I think that there's prosthetics above.
What's the time of it?
3:19:46.
46. I'm 6 seconds away. I want to see this.
Yeah, just look in the background. You can definitely tell.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that might just be a midget. I can't 100% tell. That might just be a midget. Because like for some of these scenes though, to get the size proportions right, they did have to get like midget
like
stunt
legitimate
doubles.
halflings.
Yeah, they had to. Like that's not like saying anything bad about anything or anything like that. Like in terms of like filming the movie and getting the size comparisons right, they had to.
Well, at least they're useful for something. So, we. I am joking. I am just saying horrible things for the shock value and trying to be funny. But it's dumb. But no, I saw that and I'm like, I just laughed because I'm like, that looks like you can so clearly tell.
With that as well, though, it cracks me up. Just kind of brought to my mind as well. One thing that cracks me up is with the actors they chose for the different characters. I don't remember the actor's name, but the actor that plays Gimli was the tallest actor on set.
That's funny.
For one of the characters that is like one of the shortest in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the actor's name is now. But it was kind of us going on with midgets and stuff just made me laugh and think of that.
Yeah.
With the movie, though, as you said, we see the forces of Mordor coming out of the Black Gates.
Right.
And Gandalf and Aragorn and them ride back to their
Get ready
troops.
to fight and stuff, yeah.
And we jump over to Frodo and Sam as they're recovering, getting back up, as the eye has turned to see what's going on at the Black Gate, because it's going down.
Yep. Let me make a note, buddy. Yeah.
I've been doing a very good job so far.
No, you have.
Okay.
I've been saying a lot of stuff that it needs to be censored, and that's me. That's me. Talking about stuff.
It shows Frodo and Sam getting back up and getting ready to continue towards Mount Doom. And it jumps back over to Aragorn, who starts riding back and forth as all the orcs are coming out, we see the soldiers of Gondor and Mordor. They're making up this force. They start to shuffle back and almost kind of like cower away at the pure number that are still here. They just killed 100,000 plus. How many we don't really know. And there's still this many coming out of the Black Gates.
Yeah.
And so like I can only imagine like standing in a front lines of like a medieval battle. You've just won these great victories. You push these forces back time and time again to come to this spot to try and finish this fight. Your numbers have been dwindled down. You've lost friends. You've lost comrades in arms, over the week or 2 weeks that it would take to reach the Black Gates from Minas Tirith. And you get here and you're like, it's almost over. We've almost won. And then these hordes of enemies come pouring out of the final gate that you have to like fight. Mm-hmm. Like just the effect on morale that's got to have.
Yeah.
And so Aragorn sees this as well, and he kind of rides back and forth, and he's giving
a speech, this
inspirational speech of basically like, one day our bonds that we form with each other will die out, and we'll no longer be friends, what have you, but not today. Yeah. Today we're gonna fight alongside each other. We're gonna fight for what's right. We're gonna fight for our people, for each other, for our families back home. Those that are depending on us. Kind of gives this inspiring speech to them, and you can see the resolve return as they all kind of shuffle forward again. Kind of because at first you see that look of like, oh crap, here they come.
Yeah.
And then he gives this speech, and as he's giving it, you can see him step up, and they steal the resolve to carry on with this, which definitely is needed.
Yeah.
Because even now, it's like I have to imagine it's like 100-1. In favor of the orcs, in the favor of Sauron's forces, because like we do get a zoomed out picture of the forces.
There are so many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and when you look at it, it's this. From what it shows, it basically makes the target symbol, right?
Yeah,
and it's this small ring of Gondor and Rohan soldiers, and then the orcs and Uruks completely surround them on all sides. Mm-hmm. And it's not like this thin line that surrounds them. It's like this, like 40, 50, 60 rows deep.
Yeah.
Of orcs and Uruks that surround them.
Right.
And so it's obviously, and like Gimli says too a little earlier in the movie, of like certainty of death, low chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Yeah.
We can see that here.
Yeah. In this too, so. Another back and forth. Frodo and Sam begin their direct ascent up Mountain Doom. Yeah. Like they reach the base of it and they're heading like almost straight up. But we do get the iconic meme line from Gimli here in this group, and he says, "I never thought I'd die side by side with an elf." Legolas goes, "What about side by side with a friend?" And then Gimli, I could do that. Yeah. And then Legolas grabs Gimli's beard hair and just starts aggressively making out with him and tugging on it like he's milking cows and stuff. It's crazy. It's a weird scene. Definitely extended. But
I think you got into some of the deleted scenes, not just the extended edition there, buddy.
I logged into your YouTube account, bud.
I think you found the wrong Return of the King.
Let me look.
You might have clicked on the wrong one there, buddy. It might have been Return of the Orgy.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was not that.
Are you sure?
Oh, it was Return of the Kink. I misspelled stuff, dude. They're like really close by.
And let me guess, in that version, they used the head of the mouth of Sauron for some weird stuff.
No, actually, no. They played a little bit of football with it. It was really weird.
With that kind of title, I would imagine they would have.
Yeah, surprisingly, Viggo Mortensen busted his toe on that one, too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right, move on. Dude, come on. Anyway,
But with this scene where you're talking about Legolas and Gimli have this kind of back and forth real quick, right?
Yeah, and romance.
I had mentioned before in The Hobbit, as well as in the earlier movies, the Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers. All the way up until this point, there is no love lost between dwarves and elves. For what we see in The Hobbit with the elves leaving the dwarves of Erebor to the Wrath of Smaug, that being a big reason for it, and other underlying issues that dwarves and elves have towards each other. But the friendship of Legolas and Gimli, actually, it doesn't seem terribly significant at face value, but when you look deeper into it, the friendship of Legolas and Gimli is actually what really brings dwarves and elves closer and makes them true allies going forward.
Yeah, they see the love and the way they show it.
On a real note,
I'm being serious.
Legolas being the son of Thranduil, an elven king, and Gimli being the son of Gloin, who does have I believe it's a distant relation to like Thorin, Fili, and Kili, and Dane, right, and other royals of dwarves. These two, I don't know if you would really call Gimli any sort of royalty or nobility, right? But he is very prominent. Bless you.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
I yawned and then sneezed. Go ahead.
But Gimli does hold a certain station within the dwarven kingdoms. And so, dwarves and elves seeing an elven prince and a dwarf of notable stature being friends is a big deal. And so you do see, if you look into the lore and stuff and whatnot, that the two of them becoming friends and setting aside their differences and the hatred that they have towards each other really opens up for alliances between dwarves and elves, and really starts to build good relations between those two races.
Yeah. Over to Sam and Frodo. They are sitting a bit. Sam imagines the Shire and shares with Frodo, trying to kind of bring him back to even a glimmer of brightness.
Yeah, because
strawberries and such. He's bringing all this stuff, and he's just trying to. He's like, remember all this?
Got some dipping the strawberries in chocolate and eating it out of Frodo's mouth, and
yeah. They were actually like, they were.
I think I saw Return of the King.
Yeah, it was.
Shoot.
What's really crazy is that's a 5-hour film. That was a really extended edition for multiple things that were extended in that edition. It's crazy. No, so, but either way, he's painting all these pictures of like the love that they share. Not anything,
like that
to compete.
But, yeah.
It's not even a competition between what Legolas and Gimli have. But like, he is trying to bring him back to this kind of like glimmer of brightness.
Yeah, because at this point, like, you can see Frodo is just like, it's not even that he's like dazed or like hallucinating. He's just gone.
Yeah.
We see him like collapse to the ground. Like, he has no strength left.
No, none.
Utterly defeated at this point.
But Frodo says that he can't remember any of it. He can't remember what a strawberry tastes like. He can't remember what the grass feels like. He is naked in the dark, aka Evan's normal Friday night down at local daycare. But then we cut back to Aragorn. Sauron recognizes Aragorn, says his name, and then Aragorn turns to the group, says for Frodo, and just charges into the massive amount of orcs. So he takes off, then they all follow him.
And it cracks me up, though, because Aragorn charges first, and then we see Merry and Pippin charge.
Yeah.
And then everybody else goes.
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously, Merry and Pippin being hobbits, they're not going to be able to run as fast.
Yeah.
And so it gives you this scene of Aragorn charging forward, Merry and Pippin charging afterwards,
and then everybody
the surge
passing.
of forces the surge of the troops of Gondor and Rohan charging, and you can see the gap dwindling between the army and Merry and Pippin as they like overtake them. And it just cracks me up seeing that. And you can even see, if you look for a brief second, you can see Gimli falling behind as well. You see like Legolas shooting a couple arrows, and you see the clash of the lines colliding with each other as the fight starts.
Right.
It kind of jumps back to Frodo and Sam, with, at this point, Sam literally carrying Frodo on his shoulders.
Yeah, and Gollum appears again and jumps onto them, attacking
Yeah, because, you know, like Gollum getting thrown down a frickin' ravine with a giant spider hanging out in that area that probably has spiderlings all around, somehow didn't die.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that is one of those things that, like, I don't remember if it explains it in the book, but in the movie just doesn't make sense to me. Because it's not even like he slides down. It's like Frodo throws him over. And you can see him like flailing, legs and arms falling down. So like, how did he survive that?
Yeah.
And it's one of those as well, like you can't see the bottom. It's pitch black down the further he goes, where you can't see the bottom of this ravine or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so it is one of those things of like, how did he survive?
But he starts choking Frodo before Sam throws a rock at him, smacks him, tackles him.
Sam would be like a Division I pitcher.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Oh,
Division
yeah,
I is like baseball, but I'm going with
I know what you were going for. I don't know if
he's
I don't know
like
if it's
MLB
accurate.
pitcher.
I don't
like,
know. Yeah,
right in the
he
temple.
pitches the most serves. I don't know. I'm done trying to.
He pitches the most
field-
baskets for touchdowns.
Yep, and field goals and such. Match point. Love.
I think there's serves in there as well. It gets it over the net.
Maybe.
It comes back at one point. He bumps it.
Something about a par.
Maybe a bogey in there somewhere.
Maybe. I don't know.
Hole in one.
Birdies. Shuttlecock. By the way, that is, I'm almost certain that is, what is,
he puts the crap out of them.
No. The shuttlecock is the little birdie in badminton.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was going for. I wasn't being inappropriate.
I was trying to think the sweepers from, what's it called? It's like the Olympic sport.
Shuffleboard?
Yeah, shuffleboard. You got the sweepers in there as well
Yeah.
through the air to make
Gutter
sure
balls.
there's no dust in the way.
I'm done.
But yeah, he throws the rock right in the forehead of Gollum, like spot on.
Bringing back, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He is like spot on accurate.
Yeah.
Domes the dude.
That was the point of all of that. We kind of went
was.
off on a sports thing there for a second. Obviously, neither of us know jack squat about sports, as you can tell.
Yep. I was the kid eating dandelions out in the outfield when we played baseball, so that tells you.
I know a little bit of terminology for like basketball and football, a little bit for baseball, but not much. Now coming back.
Sam just whack. Missiles Gollum with a rock.
Freeing Frodo because Gollum was choking Frodo at that point. And he comes back, and Sam basically gets into a wrestling match with Gollum, basically giving Frodo a chance to get up to Mount Doom.
Right.
It jumps back over to the orcs fighting, the Men of the West, showing different scenes of some of the named characters killing orcs and whatnot. And at one point, there's kind of like this move that Gimli does, like kind of twirling his axes around him and like cutting down orcs. Shows Legolas with his bow, Merry and Pippin.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of action and stuff.
But the keynote of this scene that we see is the Nazgul arrive on the Fell Beasts.
Right.
And you can see him coming. You see 6, 7 of them on screen that you can see initially.
Yeah.
Because we got to remember, there's only 8 of them right now. Because the Witch King of Angmar is not there anymore. He's destroyed by Éowyn back at the Battle of Pelennor Fields.
Right.
So there is only 8 of them right now. Now, could the Witch King return if Sauron decided to do so?
Probably.
Potentially, yes. Because he is a wraith. So I don't even think potentially yes. Yes, he could. Because we see this something somewhat similar in Fellowship of the Ring when Arwen uses some of the elven magic when they're crossing that ford and brings down the water and sweeps them away.
Oh, yeah.
Destroying their physical form, hence why we don't see them again in Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
So, just because the Witch King is destroyed right now doesn't mean he can't come back. Mm-hmm. But right now, again, the time between the Battle of the Black Gates and the Battle of Pelennor Fields where he's destroyed is like 2 or 3 weeks. If that. Mm-hmm. So not a whole lot of time. And Sauron obviously does not have his full power because he doesn't have the ring. So in order for him to, I think, return the Witch King at this point, he would probably either need the ring or he would be using a lot of power to do so, which I would imagine even now Sauron's gained a lot of strength back. He probably wouldn't risk that right now.
Yeah.
Just because he hasn't gotten back to full strength.
Right. But Sam continues to fight Gollum, and Frodo runs up the mountain further towards the side little opening thing.
At one point, we do see Gollum bite Sam.
Yeah.
And again, shortly after that, we do see Sam pull his sword and kind of slash Gollum in the stomach.
Yep.
As he turns to chase after Frodo.
Right. Jumps
back to showing you like Gandalf and Legolas and a couple others killing some orcs and whatnot. But it does show Gandalf seeing the Nazgul coming, and of course he sees his little butterfly thing show up. Mm-hmm. And we see the eagles come in to fight the fell beasts, fight the Nazgul and their fell beasts. Mm-hmm. And another meme moment of Pippin standing there. The eagles are coming. Mm-hmm. Another big meme one that we see there. But it cracks me up a little bit as well, seeing the eagles come in, because it's not like this ferocious battle you would expect between giant eagles and fell beasts.
No.
The eagles come in, they latch their talons into like the undersides of the fell beast. At one point you see like 2 or 3 Nazgul fall off of their fell beast. Yeah. Like you can actually see them plummet down.
Yeah, it's pretty quickly.
Yeah, and they dispatch of them so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yes, giant eagles are cool. They're definitely strong, powerful.
Yeah.
But you're talking about creatures that look like dragons.
Yeah.
Like deformed, disgusting dragons.
Yep.
And so yes, the eagles have their talons and they have their beaks, but these fell beasts have their own talons and their own mouths with razor sharp teeth in them. And so like it just kind of the fact that the eagles just come in and so easily like kick them out, essentially, or hold them off or push them back is kind of a little anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Because like in my eyes, I would expect like this big ferocious battle of beast versus abomination type of deal.
Right.
But we don't really get to see it.
But
Frodo makes his way into Mount Doom.
Yep. And then Sam enters and shouts to him. He's like, "Destroy the ring, destroy it."
And I saw you kind of had that tone in your voice. He goes into a weird doorway in the mountainside.
Yeah, that we've seen it before because it's where Isildur was gonna destroy it and was like.
So we see it there. We also see it in the opening scenes of the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah,
when we hear Galadriel's voice, kind of giving us the intro to it. We see Sauron like holding his hand up with the ring on his hand. He's standing in here as well. Yeah. So it's. Because I could kind of tell from kind of like the tone of your voice, it was kind of like a "why the heck is that there?" type of thing. My only answer to you is probably like it's where Sauron chills out and chills in his suffering and his anger and his hate and gets prosthetic arms and legs and into a dark suit and is told that his wife is dead and it's his fault.
Yeah, probably.
And then he yells "no" for like an exaggerated long time, and kind of crushes everything around him.
Yeah. Okay.
For people that didn't catch on there, I'm talking about Darth Vader.
Yeah, Sauron.
For people that might not have caught on to that, I'm talking about Darth Vader.
What books is he reading? Where are we? Frodo hears the ring whisper to him, though, and he ends up wishing to keep it, not destroy it. He puts it on and starts walking around. We see his little footprints.
Yeah,
because he's invisible again.
It's one of those things, because right here we've reached the peak in terms of like a storytelling. You have like the build, the peak, the slow slope to the end. this is like this is the peak, right? We have the ring about to be destroyed. It's in a position to be destroyed. We have the big battle going on elsewhere to distract the bad guys. But then our hero of the story finally succumbs to the corruption.
Yeah.
Because it's not just Frodo being like, this is a nice ring, I think I'm just going to keep it. It is, the ring has taken a hold.
Yeah.
The ring has overcome Frodo's will. Frodo is so mentally and physically destroyed at this point.
Yeah.
So in agony, pain, whatever you want to, that he can't fight it anymore.
Nope.
The ring takes control.
The temptation is too great for this bunny.
Yeah. Be the bigger bunny bugs.
He just takes, Father. All right.
But this is one of those moments because we see Gollum show up as well at this point. Because, Sam kind of gives the you can see him starting to tear up the no, Frodo, no. Like, no. And like, Sam.
Hold on.
One more second. Almost there. Almost done. Oh, there it is. There it is.
All right. Yeah. No. I'm done. Have I mentioned I'm tired?
Yeah. But Sam realizes what's happening here.
Yeah.
He quickly recognizes what has happened here. It's not that he's like, what the heck is going on? Why is this? Like, he knows. And we see Gollum show up, and Gollum sees those footprints that you mentioned of Frodo kind of moving around. And if it wasn't for Gollum showing up, right, Frodo would have left Mount Doom.
Oh, yeah.
And taken the ring to Sauron.
Yep.
Is what would have happened here. He would have taken the ring to Sauron. Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Gandalf, Merry, Pippin, Éomer, all of the Rohan and Gondor soldiers here, all will die. Because there's no way to stop it.
Getting a little bit ahead, Gollum shows up and starts wrestling Frodo to get the ring. He wants it.
Yeah, he sees the footsteps you had mentioned.
Right. And they kind of like start. Well, first he hits Sam over the head, and then wrestles with Frodo.
Yeah.
Eventually biting off Frodo's finger and getting the ring.
Yeah. It does jump back to the battle going on at the Black Gates. And it shows Aragorn, and it shows what's known as an Olag High. It's basically like not quite a troll, right? But it's kind of like that in between like an Uruk and a troll. And this Olag High is named, I just had it, Moloch. And he's like a chief, like captain or lieutenant or something like that of Sauron. Within the movie's story, Sauron gives Moloch a mission, which is find Aragorn and kill him. That is Moloch's sole purpose. Within the books, and if you watch some of the deleted scenes and stuff, Aragorn's actually fighting Sauron instead of Moloch. In the deleted scenes, and in the books, he fights Sauron. Sauron manifests himself into his physical form here. But Peter Jackson did not want to take away from what Frodo is doing up in Mount Doom, and he felt that putting Sauron in this scene would do so. So they changed it to a giant troll-like creature for Aragorn to fight. But yeah, within the movie, Moloch's sole mission is to find and kill Aragorn on the battlefield. And like I said, in the deleted scenes in the books, it is Sauron that Aragorn fights here. And a key point, though, with Aragorn fighting this creature, these things are incredibly strong. Like, if Moloch wanted to, or another Olag High wanted to, they could pick up an orc or a person and rip them in half with ease. They're that strong. If he hits you in the chest with his mace or his blade, you're dead. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You are dead. And we see Aragorn blocking his attacks, reposing his attacks, like pushing his blade away and making strikes himself, which just goes to show how strong Aragorn is. That he can even do this and hold his own against such a powerful creature, which I think is really cool. And it just goes back to him having elven blood. He's also got the blood of the Dunedain in his veins. He's also got a smidgen of I'm drawing a blank on the name. It's basically like angel blood, right, within his veins as well. Basically, Valar blood is what they're called. So like Gandalf is a Valar angel, if we're looking at like compared to like the Christian faith, as I've said before. Aragorn has a little bit of Valar blood in his veins as well, just like a 0.0000001%, type small amount. But even then, like you're talking about the blood of an angel, that's still going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
In a mortal person. And so it's kind of that throw to, in my eyes, like his heritage, where he came from, his ancestors. Just the fact that he can fight against such a formidable foe. And even if they had kept in that this is Sauron that he's fighting, still that shows a lot, because Sauron was a Valar as well. Sauron was an angel as well before he went bad. And so the fact that Aragorn could stand against Sauron and block his attacks and strike back says a lot.
Yeah.
But
Frodo then starts wrestling with Gollum, eventually falling off of the edge.
Yeah.
We see that Frodo is holding on to the ledge, but Gollum falls down into the lava.
And we do see Gollum does have the ring.
He does, as he's doing this. He does have it, so both of them are falling down into the lava.
And so,
the ring and Gollum.
And because it's like we see Gollum falling, but he doesn't even. It's almost like he doesn't realize he's falling. He's just so happy that he's got the ring.
Yeah.
And it's like right around this time too, as well. We see Aragorn get knocked over, and Moloch like stepping on his chest, like crushing him. He tries to stab him in the foot, doesn't work. Lego's trying to make his way over to him, and it's kind of jumping back and forth, of like, oh no, Aragorn's gonna die, but wait, the ring's falling. Is that going to change things? Legolas can't get to him in time, but stuff's happening up in Mount Doom.
Yeah.
It's that kind of like that suspense of like what's going to happen,
right?
As it jumps back and forth.
And Gollum immediately gets into the lava. Immediately, like you can kind of see him like start to realize, oh, I'm dead. And then he dies. He's through the lava. He's melted.
Yeah,
and the ring sits on top of the lava for a little bit as Sam helps Frodo up.
And it's this weird thing too, of like Gollum. I'm not even sure if Gollum realizes what's happening.
Yeah,
truthfully, because it's not like he starts screaming and yelling.
No,
he's simply trying to hold the ring up above the lava, like he doesn't want it to be destroyed.
Huh. Yeah.
As he's like gazing at it and holding it up above the lava, as he obviously melts and dies.
Yeah.
It's this weird thing because like he is melting. He's not even like burning alive. He is literally melting. He is in lava.
Mm-hmm.
So why is he not hurting? Like, it's so strange, and I only have to assume that like once he gets the ring back, he's so corrupted by it.
Mm-hmm.
That all his mind can think about is ring, and he doesn't even register the pain.
Yeah,
it is all I can think of. You know?
I would agree.
And I have to imagine too, because you had mentioned the ring is still like floating on something that's kind of solidified above the lava. I just have to imagine that's Gollum's flesh.
I mean, maybe. I don't think it is.
That's my headcanon. It might not be true, but that's my headcanon. That it's like Gollum's last attempt as he's dead, trying to stop the ring from being destroyed because he loves it so much. But we see Frodo, as you said, hanging over the edge, and Sam's reaching down, trying to save him.
Yeah.
And there for a second, or a couple seconds, what have you, it seems like Frodo's just like, it's over, I'm dead, leave me. But Sam's like, no, you're not, you're going to die here. Reach for my hand.
Yeah.
And Frodo finally does, and we can see the nasty stub of his pointer finger.
Yep. But meanwhile, the ring does finally melt fully. Yeah. The Eye of Sauron screeches, and the tower that it sits atop crumbles on its way down. The eye explodes, maybe implodes.
Maybe
goes just
it
go boom.
If that's possible, maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, it go boom. And the orcs flee the ground, and the ground and gate crumble.
Yeah.
all around. So the battle that was just taking place is kind of dispersing because the ground is falling out from under it, and they realize that stuff's not good now.
Well, because it's not just that the ground's falling out from underneath. The ground is specifically falling out from underneath the orcs.
Yeah.
Not the good guys.
Well, right.
Specifically the orcs. And it falls out from underneath the black gates as well.
I should have clarified that,
yeah. And with that, Moloch, the big troll thing fighting Aragorn, realizes what's going on as well and tries to flee too, so Aragorn doesn't die. Woohoo.
Yeah.
And we see like Merry and like cheering out for Frodo, and Gimli laughing as like they've realized what's happened.
Yeah.
But then we see Mount Doom erupt.
Yep.
And they see it erupt, and obviously are going to automatically assume the worst.
Yeah.
Because if Frodo destroyed the ring, that means he's in Mount Doom.
Yeah.
If Mount Doom just erupted, like shortly afterwards, he probably didn't get out alive.
Right.
And we also see as well the orcs fleeing. Not all of them collapse down into the ground and die. So orcs do escape as well. Just a key note, because there's a little stuff later on that I'll go into. But yeah, it shows some of the different characters like Aragorn and Gimli. I think it shows Legolas at one point, Pippin crying as they're putting two and two together.
Yeah.
And it shows Mount Doom erupting as molten lava shoots up, and like molten rock and whatever else you want to call them shoot out. And you can see them hitting some of the fell beasts with the ring wraiths on them as they've gone to hell in a basket.
Yeah.
But we do see Frodo and Sam go running out of that little kind of like walkway within. And they run out, and they have to jump onto a boulder that's kind of sitting above kind of the ground level. And we can see the lava coming down around it as they're alive, but they're stranded.
Yeah.
Right. And we see Frodo, and he's got like this giant weight that's been lifted off of his shoulders now.
Yeah.
As the ring is finally gone and no longer influencing him. But it just shows some more lava, and it shows them kind of like moving further up on the rocks that they're on, and just kind of chilling.
Probably frying, but
yeah, it's got to be nice and toasty. And it kind of shows Sam kind of giving into despair here as well, as he talks about Rosie, one of the hobbits back in the Shire.
Yep, Rosie Cotton.
That he had a thing for, and he's kind of talking like if he was ever to marry someone, he would have married her.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like giving into the despair or the reality of the situation.
Yeah. Oh, wow, I have that really loud.
And it just kind of shows him sitting there for a little bit, and it kind of screen goes black for a second. I'm assuming just kind of like a time jump forward.
Yeah.
But we see 3 eagles coming in with Gandalf on one of the eagles to save them.
Yep, they're searching around, or he's searching around for them, finds them, picks them both up, and take off.
And the thing is, though, think about this. There's 3 eagles. How many peeps were taking the ring to Mordor in the second and third movie? 3 of them. There was an eagle for Gollum. Gandalf was going to try and save Gollum. But Gollum didn't make it.
Nope.
He fell to the desires and temptations of the ring. And didn't make it.
I didn't think about that. That's interesting.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if Gandalf was just going to save Frodo and Sam, why bring the extra eagle? But he shows up with the eagles, and they save Frodo and Sam, and we do another jump forward to Frodo coming to in a familiar-looking bed.
Yeah. We have seen this before, but in Rivendell.
Yeah. As he sees Gandalf standing before his
right,
bed.
And they are so overjoyed in this very corny scene. Also, have you seen the one where it like sets it to different music, and it's just like really like kind of romantic music, kind of get you in the mood kind of music?
I haven't seen that one. I've seen the one where it gives them like missing teeth and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
like the hillbilly one.
Yeah,
That's the one I thought of when you started saying that.
There's one, and it's like music. It's like music makes a difference, and it's like going back and forth between them, and it looks like this really, really high like sexual tension between Gandalf and Frodo, and because it's just like playing like not Careless Whisper, but one of the other like stereotypical like yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, you started saying something about that, and I instantly thought of the one where it's got like the missing teeth and like the super hillbilly-esque one.
Yeah, I've seen that one too. That one's good.
But they see each other and
yeah,
start laughing, and we see Merry and Pippin come in and
oh,
Frodo, and they go over and jump on the bed and like kind of start telling him their tales of their own adventures.
Yeah, and they're all like rejoicing, like I mean, really, they've been apart for a while, and also thought that he was dead. So there's like there's all this stuff.
Yeah.
But Gimli comes in as well, followed by Legolas, then Aragorn, and then finally Sam enters. And Frodo kind of like, though he's very overjoyed to see all of them, he has this like pause where he like makes eye contact with Sam, and it's this definite, more deep, like meaningful, like So anyway, moving on. That's a patron exclusive, so check that out.
One thing I want to point out at this time as well is because Frodo sees Legolas when Legolas enters the room.
Yeah.
And he kind of is like, oh, Legolas, Throughout all three movies, we never see Frodo and Legolas talk to each other one time. They never say a single word to each other a single time on screen.
Yeah.
So, it's this weird thing of like, well, let me back this up real quick. Does Frodo even say anything when Legolas comes in?
I don't think so.
Let me back up real quick. Let me see here real quick. Aragorn. So there's Gimli coming in, right? And he's like, "Oh, Gimli." And here's Legolas, and he stands at the door. No, he doesn't even say Legolas. He just looks at him with a smile on his face.
This entire time, he never knew his name.
This entire time,
funny.
Legolas knows Frodo's name because everybody's talking about Frodo.
Yeah.
Frodo has no idea who Legolas is. Frodo's just like, oh, that one elf that was with us at the beginning.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Is that Gimli's boyfriend?
That one elf that was with us at the beginning.
He was the dude swinging off of Gimli's beard earlier.
Leans over to Aragorn. Who's that again? Aragorn, who is that again? Aragorn just does the face palm like, gosh dang it, Frodo.
Yeah, he's like smiling and laughing with Merry and Pippin, and he just hugs one of them close, and he's like, who is that?
Yeah. But they have that kind of look between Frodo and Sam, and it jumps back over to Minas Tirith now.
Yeah.
With a large crowd gathered up on the tip top where Denethor had his 800-meter dash.
Mm-hmm. Remember, hey, Minas Tirith cremation and euthanasia services. Remember those. You can check them out. Remember all the passes and stuff that anybody can pass.
One thing I saw, and I'm going to mention it now because we come back to this scene of where Denethor did his run earlier on in the movie.
Yep.
It was this side view of Minas Tirith, right? And it shows the overlook, right? That Denethor runs down. We see him fall to his death as he's burning. He probably dies from his burns before he hits the ground. Whatever.
I don't know.
And it makes a trail. It follows it back, right, for that whole length.
Yeah.
It goes into the throne room.
Yeah.
Goes out a back door.
Yep.
Up some trails up to the mountains.
You pointed this out. How far?
All the way back to the freaking place where all the people are buried. And with this one, though, it actually put like a distance.
Okay.
Like someone did the math and found out the distance that Denethor had to run while on fire.
Yeah.
And it was like upwards of like 3/4 of a mile. Or like half a mile or like 3/4 of a mile that Denethor ran while on fire just to throw himself off the edge to go and die.
Jeez.
And like someone through whatever mathematical equations and whatever theorems they had to plug in and whatnot, did the math to figure this out. But it comes to this when we see the large crowd that is gathered and some sort of celebration going on.
Yeah.
You can see, Gondor soldiers stationed about and like common folk up there as well. And it just goes up to what's actually happening, and we see Gandalf crowning Aragorn, the king of Gondor.
Yep. And as he places that crown on Aragorn's head, Gandalf announces, "Now come the days of the king. May they be blessed."
Yes. Another point as well, Gimli is holding the pillow with the crown on it before Gandalf picks it up. So Gimli is effectively the ring bearer of a wedding. He's the little girl ring bearer that brings the rings up.
Yeah.
He's the crown bearer.
Yeah. All right, yeah. But then Aragorn turns and faces everyone, who then begin cheering, which I just heard on Evan's phone.
I also have to point out as well, it showed Gimli, and I just realized it. He's wearing really nice clothes. This is the cleanest we've ever seen Gimli.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's really like groomed himself. He's like straightened out the hair, put a brush through it, wearing some clean, nice clothes, not looking all nasty. And
Legolas got it together, asked him out on an official date, and they're going, dude. He's like
Legolas was Gimli's +1 to the crowning ceremony.
He was, yes. Looking over that.
Go ahead and write down.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and write that down.
Like you said, everyone starts cheering, and Aragorn kind of like hushes them, puts his hands up to hush them.
Yeah, and he says,
he gives a little speech.
"I have a dream."
Oh God, no! Oh God, no, Jacob.
That's where my brain went. I'm sorry. Well, you think of significant speeches.
You didn't even get to finish the first line, and I instantly knew what you were going to say.
No, but like, you think of significant speeches.
Is it bad that my mind went to when you said that? My mind went to the song "I Have a Dream" from Rapunzel.
I don't recall that song.
Or from Wicked. I have a dream. I have a dream.
I haven't seen it.
She's in like the tavern. It's got like the
I don't know,
pirates and brigands and whatnot. And one of them has a dream of like being a musician and whatnot. And he's like this big burly guy that has like an eye patch.
I don't know.
Eye patch and whatnot.
I don't know. No, but the actual speech, he says, "This day does not belong to one man, but to all. Let us together rebuild this world, that we may share in days of peace." And then he begins singing as the white leaves fall, or the blossoms, whatever they are. And I was wanting a reminder of the significance of that.
So they're from the tree in the courtyard.
Well, yeah, I remember that much, but like, what was the significance of them returning this blossoming again?
It was kind of like a prophecy, right?
Yeah, I know.
When a ruler returns to the kingdom of Gondor, the tree would blossom again.
Oh, okay.
So as long as it's not blossoming, it's kind of like this symbol of
the true king has
hope.
not returned.
Yeah,
and there's no
basically
hope.
Yeah. But if you're if you want to look deeper, it's kind of like this symbol of like, we're still not there. We still don't have a true ruler, someone that's going to lead us, type of deal.
Cool. Pause. Why do you have 2 VHS tapes of Dragonheart?
That's Tyler stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know.
Okay.
If you look on there, there's 2 The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh as well that Tyler has.
I just noticed that now too. Why? Okay.
There's 2.
310 to Yuma. Why is there so many 2? Sorry. Here, just for anybody still listening. First off, hey. Thanks for sticking around.
There's a VHS and a disc version of Men in Black 2.
I see that. So we're, like I said, we are currently recording in person, and we are in Evan's game room. And on one of the walls, there is a shelving unit. There's like a built-in shelves, and there's just a ton of movies and a game map hanging over it. I don't know, whatever that is. But anyway, there's like so many duplicates of movies. Like there's
more underneath here as well.
Yeah, I see 2 copies. Okay, yeah.
3.
Oh.
You got this one right here, which I believe is the cartoon Lord of the Rings movie.
Okay,
you got Van Helsing.
Yep, there's 2 copies of Van Helsing. There's 2 copies of 310 to Yuma. 2 copies of Men in Black, one of which is VHS.
There's Fantasia and
Yep. Also, he's away from his mic, so I don't know if you can hear him very well, but he is talking. Dragonheart, there's 2 copies. There was, I just saw one. Lift it up again. Where was it? There was another one. Why do you have the Starving Games?
Where's that?
Over on the far left middle shelf.
Tyler's.
It's funny. Don't get me wrong. I remember dying laughing with Michael.
On the shelf is Tyler's.
Yeah.
For this.
Uh-huh.
And this. And this.
Okay. Interesting. And then you got a VHS tape of Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah.
Bill Engvall. Yep.
Jeff Dunham.
The Fluffy movie. Yeah, Gabriel Iglesias. X-Men. All right, let's head back. Anyway.
I
So
was saying the significance of the white tree.
right, basically the king has returned.
Yeah, it's
Return of the king.
Yeah. And with it blossoming now, it's just like that that divine confirmation of the true king is here.
Yeah.
Is basically what it's signifying. As well as just adding some more to like the scene itself.
Yeah.
So
then Aragorn makes his way around to first Legolas, and then behind him he sees Arwen. He approaches her and kisses her, and then he continues walking now with her, approaching Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, who bow to him.
Well, along the way as well, we do see like Faramir and Eowyn. Each other.
And you see like
we see like Eomer standing there as well.
Yeah, and you see Elrond. He's there as well. But
as he's walking too, it does show them all bowing to it.
Right. Everybody's kind of giving him,
and so
him, like respect, but also
Eomer,
like congratulating him.
Other people are like doing full bows.
Yeah.
Eomer does like a half bow, right?
Yeah.
Because now that again Theoden is dead, Eomer is now king of Rohan.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really want to get technical about it, with Gondor existing before Rohan existed, Aragorn would have like my country's older, so I'm more in charge. If you really want to get technical,
but it's more of like we're co-ruler. Like we're both
We're
rulers,
allies. Yeah, so he gives the half bow, not the full bow.
Right.
And so, with everything they've been through, Gondor and Rohan are going to be even closer allies now, especially because Eomer and Aragorn form a friendship, but as well like they're comrades in arms. They've fought alongside of each other now, which forms a special bond between people. And so with that, you can assume, and there's even some books and lore stuff about it of Gondor and Rohan, their alliance growing stronger and whatnot. And it's due to the friendship of Aragorn and Eomer, as well as not in the movies, right, but in the books, Eomer marries. I mentioned it before, Prince Imrahil. He's he falls under Gondor, right, for the city that he rules over. But he rules over a port city that overlooks like the bay that leads up the river up to like Osgiliath and whatnot. But Eomer marries Prince Imrahil's daughter, which that's like royalty marrying royalty of another country to solidify that relationship, which was very common in like the Middle Ages and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And so the whole thing with that was simply that like, yes, Eomer bows to Aragorn, but it's not a bow of like, you are my king, I'm going to listen to you. It is a bow of mutual respect.
Right.
And Aragorn just being crowned, this ceremony is about the crowning of a new king of Gondor, not a new king of Rohan.
Right.
So Eomer is going to give the respect that's deserved.
Right. And but like I said, he ends up approaching Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, and they bow to him as well. And Aragorn stops. It's
funny though, because you can see the awkwardness of the bow from the hobbits. Like they have no idea what they're doing.
No, there's no understanding of formality.
I just have to imagine like they had like what do you call it? Like a run through of what they're supposed to do beforehand, but they only did like one run through of it, and so like all four of the hobbits are still like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Bend at the waist, all the way down, make an L.
Yeah.
And if you look closely too, you can see Pippin hesitates to bow because he doesn't know what to do, and he looks to the other three hobbits to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. But either way, they do attempt, and they do bow to him. And then Aragorn kind of stops and like looks, shaking his head, and he says, "My friends, you bow to no one." And then he bows to them, as does the rest of the crowd, because they are the true heroes here.
Yeah, and like he even goes down to like all the way down to a knee.
Yeah, he does. He goes full bow.
And then it's like the wave. Everybody like it waves out to everybody going down on one knee. To the four hobbits, which truthfully it should be to Sam.
But, 100%. But if you want to throw them all together, I suppose.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like you said, it's this thing of like recognizing who truly did what needed to be done. You know, because it's like, yes, Aragorn is taking up the crown of Gondor. Aragorn was a big leader for Rohan. And for the forces of Gondor, and saving Gondor during the Battle of Pelennor Fields, Rohan during the Battle of Helm's Deep, you know, protecting Frodo, you know, in the first movie with the Uruk-hai that come after him. Yes, but truthfully in this story, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Gandalf, Merry and Pippin even are side characters. The movie turns them into main characters, but in the books, they're side characters.
Yeah, because the book's written by...
Yeah, it's written from the viewpoint of Frodo.
Frodo, right.
Yeah. And so, like I said, the movie turns them into main characters, but they are truly side characters. The story's not about them.
Yeah.
And the only reason, truthfully, that all the events of like Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli and Gandalf are included in the book is because it talks about how Frodo went to them and got their stories afterwards and included them in the book.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, with The Hobbit, it's solely Bilbo's experiences.
Right.
You know? And so, like, in the Hobbit book, there's this point of, like, during the Battle of Five Armies, where it's battle, battle, battle. It jumps to the end of the battle because Bilbo's knocked unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the Lord of the Rings, it's got everything in there because the other people, whether Frodo got knocked unconscious or not, or collapsed or whatever,
they
fainted,
filled him in.
They filled him in on what happened, so he can include all that stuff. So that's why it gives a more, when you're if you're comparing the two stories, that's why it gives more of a main character feel to the others, to the side characters within the Fellowship.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Hobbit book, all of the dwarves are side characters.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Thorin. Right? Gandalf is a side character in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Because Bilbo is simply putting down his experiences, not everybody else's.
Right.
But with this whole bowing to them, it's just this acknowledgement of like, yes, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Éomer, whoever else sacrificed quite a bit. But these four hobbits, who didn't have to do a dang thing, you know, were willing to sacrifice it all.
Yeah.
You know, and because like I have my own complaints about Frodo, which I have voiced before. But like when it comes down to it, all the way back in the first movie, once Frodo got to Rivendell with Sam, Merry and Pippin, and Aragorn, he didn't have to go any further. They had the meeting of Elrond to see what was to be done. Frodo didn't have to speak up.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do a dang thing. He could have just sat there and let them argue and then gone back to the Shire. But, you know, he steps forward. He takes the bullet, so to speak, and, you know, does the heroic thing.
Right. But it kind of fades out, and Frodo's narrating that the fourth age of Middle-earth began.
Yeah.
The Fellowship of the Ring, though bound eternally by friendship and love, has ended. He says that they found themselves looking. They found themselves looking on a familiar sight, which is the Shire.
Yeah.
13 months to the day since the beginning of the journey, so over a year. But they enter into the Shire, sit and drink together, all the hobbits. But in the normal like cheerfulness of the hobbits that are all of them, like all around them, they're very discontent. They're kind of like, I think primarily they're like, how do we adjust back to this?
Right.
I think like, that's more so their kind of feeling. You know, it's like kind of out of place.
Feel of like, for me at least, there's this feel of like all the other hobbits are still carefree, right? Yeah. They haven't experienced what these four have experienced
reality in some ways.
They haven't gone through the hardships that these four have gone through.
Yeah.
They haven't seen the horrors that these four have seen. And so, like, there's kind of this feeling at their table of, like, like you said, I definitely think there's a feeling of like, how do we adjust? But there's also a feeling of like, between some of them of like, we're back.
Yeah.
As well. It's kind of like a bittersweet type of feeling almost. But there definitely is that feeling of like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
To it.
But Sam does see Rosie.
Yeah.
And he takes a swig of ale or whatever they're all drinking and walks over to her, and the other three just look at each other and start laughing. But then we cut ahead and we see Rosie and Sam getting married.
Yeah.
She throws her bouquet of flowers and Pippin catches it, giving a girl to the like next to him a look kind of like, well, hey, what's up? You know?
Well, and I mean, like, if you're Sam, after you've, fought orcs and Uruk-hai.
There is no time like the present, you know?
After you've fought these creatures, after you've fought a giant spider and won, after you've carved your way through a fortress of evil, and carried your best friend up a literal volcano.
Yeah.
Like asking a girl out is nothing.
Absolutely nothing. No. Yeah. So he's like, you know
like,
what? I'm going for it.
He's just gotta have like this now inner confidence, like the biggest set of cojones after this, like at this point it's like, what can I not do?
Yeah, really.
But yeah, we have this kind of joyous scene as they come back to the Shire with a little bit of like, as we kind of said when they're at the tavern of like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
But in the books, and I've mentioned before, there's a very different scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
As they come back to the Shire.
Mm-hmm.
A chapter within the books that's known as the Scourging of the Shire.
Yeah.
And within the books, what happens here?
Because didn't you say that this was like when initially Frodo looked into the water with Galadriel and saw what the Shire could become of like getting in the hobbits enslaved and all this junk happening.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah. So within the movies, that's just a possible future.
Right.
Within the books, that happens.
Right.
Because in the books, Saruman and Grima don't die at the beginning of Return of the King.
Right.
They survive.
And they're doing
and
this.
They go to the Shire and they enslave the hobbits.
Yeah.
And there's a resistance. And the book talks about the Shire being burnt and the fields being burnt down and the enslavement of the hobbits and the hardships they go through. And these 4 hobbits return to the Shire and they start a resistance and they drive Saruman and Grima out.
Mm-hmm. But not in the movie. In the movie, this is going on, and it's all happy.
In the movies, we get that kind of that scene in terms of like one possible future, which was kind of their like homage to. But it does show Frodo and Sam in Bag End, as Frodo is finishing up the Lord of the Rings by Frodo Baggins.
Yeah, he's writing in the book that was.
Bilbo had written The Hobbit.
Right, because like at the top you see There and Back Again, A Hobbit's Tale, whatever, by Bilbo Baggins, and then under it, Frodo has filled in the second title for the second part of the book, The Lord of the Rings by Frodo. And
he hands the book to Sam.
Yep.
And he tells Sam that there's enough space for one more journey, or one more chapter. Basically like, here, Sam, fill the rest of this in with your story.
Yeah.
Or potentially with your future adventure.
Yep.
But then we jump and we see the 4 hobbits with Gandalf and Bilbo in a cart.
Well,
traveling.
Yeah, because, but before that, we get kind of a timeline jump because Frodo. So basically, I think it was probably like 3 years after the end of their journey. That now is because he comments on his shoulder and he says 4 years since Weathertop and his shoulder hasn't fully healed.
Yeah.
So having that they were gone from the beginning to the end, 13 months, probably a couple months in.
Yeah.
So I'd say about 3 years after the end is what we're seeing now. He's finished his book.
Yeah.
But yes, and then they're in a cart. We see them in a cart and Bilbo is now very old. And has one last journey in him.
Yeah.
And the elves have arranged a special honor.
Yeah, and Bilbo, having aged so rapidly, is because he no longer has the ring.
Yeah.
Right? Age is caught up with him.
Yeah.
Because even in the first movie, Gandalf mentions that Bilbo hasn't aged a day since he last saw him. Which just goes to show the kind of power that the ring had, you know? I mean, if you listen to the intro of the first movie, it talks about Gollum living for 500 years because he had the ring. And Gollum was essentially a hobbit before he turned into Gollum, you know? And so now that Bilbo no longer had the ring, he aged rapidly as his body caught up with the time that he basically stole. Right?
Yeah. Also, by the way, when I say that Bilbo is looking old, he's like looking Rohan Senior Carol old.
I think older than that. He looks like he looks like one of those like elderly people that you're like, wait, okay, he's standing there, they're walking. Did he just stop breathing in the middle of the street? Did he just? Yeah,
you kind of question like how long they've got going, and like you feel like if you sneeze around them, you're gonna break a rib. Like they're very frail.
Either like break a rib, or if it's a big sneeze, you might just kill them outright.
Yeah, they might just die or be blown away. Like it's like we're not in Kansas anymore. Like gone, just from a sneeze. So,
but they all travel to what's known as the Grey Havens, which is further west when you're looking at the map of Middle Earth. Where it's the westernmost point of like elven cities and stuff.
That's where they're at right now, where they arrived to the boat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And within the lore of Middle Earth, the Grey Havens is where the elves first landed in Middle Earth, and they built the Grey Havens there. And so, with the elves leaving Middle Earth, this is kind of like their last station, essentially.
Yeah.
Except for like the elves of Mirkwood, because Mirkwood's still around for a time afterwards. But they get there, and we do see the four hobbits as well as Bilbo and Gandalf, and they see Galadriel, Celeborn, her husband, and Elrond.
Yeah. And they all welcome him onto the boat.
Yeah, him being Bilbo.
Bilbo, right.
Yeah.
Gandalf comes to the other hobbits and tells them farewell as he's going to leave with them.
Yeah. Because as he said in the second movie, he was been sent back until his task is done.
Yep, and
his task is
hopefully his
done.
taxes are done too.
Hopefully he's filled out his taxes. Yes.
Yeah.
But his task is now done, so it's time for him to leave.
Yeah, and as he's walking away, though, he turns and says, "It's time," or "Is it time, Frodo?" or something, or "It is time," or something. He signals like, "Frodo's coming too."
Yeah.
Frodo does plan to leave with them. He's arrived at the conclusion that he can't resume life as it was. There's no way that he can come back from what had happened and resume normal quote unquote life.
Well, and because even if Frodo could get past all the trauma that he would have gone through this journey, he's still going to have that pain of the Morgul blade in his shoulder. He's still probably going to have that pain of that, because if earlier in the movie when Shelob stabs him in the chest, you can see a scar on his chest where he was stabbed. He's probably still got pain in the middle of his chest from being stabbed by a giant spider. Yeah,
physical pain.
Physical pain in the chest, but the pain from the Morgul blade's not physical pain. It's like a ghost pain, because that Morgul blade is a blade from beyond death.
Yeah.
And they mention it within The Hobbit at like the council with like Elrond and Saruman and Gandalf and Galadriel and all of them. They talk about that blade, the blade that Gandalf recovered from those tombs. This is a blade that's from beyond the grave, and so Frodo's not feeling physical pain.
Yeah.
From the blade, it's like a ghost pain. It's like a almost like a necrotic energy, or like
it's just pain that doesn't stop and is weirdly...
it's like a pain that doesn't stop, but it's not physical, but it's not like emotional or mental. It's this weird afterlife pain, and I don't know how to really describe it.
It hurt.
Yeah, he's constantly in pain.
No stop, he hurt all time.
Yeah, and so even if he could get past all the trauma he's gone through, he would still have to live with that pain. But with him going with the elves, Bilbo and Gandalf, going to the Undying Lands, which is where these ships are taking them, The Undying Lands being the lands that the elves came from before they got to Middle-earth, right? Where in terms of elves, hence the name, you don't die. Unless you are killed, someone stabs you or cuts your head off or whatever, you don't die. In terms of Bilbo and Frodo, they will die there because they're not elves. They're not immortal. So they will die there, but Frodo going there will mean he no longer lives in pain.
Yeah.
He no longer lives with the pain of the shoulder. He doesn't have to deal with all the trauma that he's been through.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
He'll carry out the rest of his days in peace.
Yeah, peacefully, comfortably.
Yep.
All that.
Yep. But obviously the others aren't really too eager to let him go, and they're very much in disbelief and sadness. They're all crying. They're like, "Well, no, what? You're our friend." You know?
Right. Well, and the thing, too, is with Frodo and Bilbo going, is the only reason the two of them are allowed to go is because of their resisting of the ring at all. You know? It's the only reason the elves allow the two of them to go. Because they had to deal with the influence of the ring, the influence of a fallen angel on their mind, their body, their emotions, what have you. That's the only reason they're allowed to go. And so, like, Merry and Pippin, not allowed to go.
No.
They never touched the ring. Later on in life, after Sam's wife dies when he's old age, he gets to go to the Undying Lands.
And does he?
Because he was able to resist the ring's influence, ring's corruption, for a short time, mind you, a couple hours.
Yeah. But
he was able to resist. So it earns him a place there to go and die in peace and no more suffering, all that kind of stuff. But as you're saying, the other three are obviously sad.
Yeah.
They're losing Frodo.
And Frodo says that he set out to save the Shire, and he did just that.
Yeah.
But it didn't save him. It's not it's for him. He's not able to, live with it, and kind of
yeah, like you had said a little earlier, like he doesn't know how to go forward from here.
Sam obviously is crying quite a bit. He doesn't want Frodo to go, and I'll be honest, I was crying during this scene.
I was sitting there like, thank God, finally.
Well, Frodo gives Sam the book, saying the last pages are for him.
Yeah.
He then hugs Merry, then Pippin, who are also both crying. Then he turns to Sam and hugs him, kisses his forehead, and goes to Gandalf. Takes Gandalf's hand, boards the boat, and gives a smiling goodbye back at them, and the boat departs.
Yeah.
Also, just as a refresher to any audience, where is this boat going? You said out, past like where the elves came from, but well, we just kind of answered that. But what was it called?
The Undying Lands.
But was there actually like a name to it other than that?
Trying to think. I think it's like Valinor.
Yeah, that. So at least similar to that. That word is what I was looking for.
Yeah, and so for those that have watched Rings of Power,
that's going a little bit ahead because we are going to end up covering that. But yes.
But yeah, we do get some views and stuff of Valinor.
Yeah, we see
in Rings of Power.
Yep.
But that is where they're heading.
Yeah.
And that, I believe, concludes the movie. It goes into credits.
Well, just about, because now we do come back to the Shire. Sam is walking and approaching his home. His daughter runs out to him, hugs him, and then Rosie joins holding another child. So we see that Sam has a family.
Yeah.
Over this, Frodo narrates, telling Sam to enjoy life. His part in the story will go on. Sam enters his house with his family, and it fades to black. End of the movie.
Yeah. With that, though, it doesn't really give us a whole lot of where did they end up type of deal, right? For the whole fellowship.
Yeah.
And
hopefully it's not the same as the initial company in The Hobbit.
So, after the events of Return of the King.
Yeah.
As we know, Frodo goes to Valinor with Bilbo and Gandalf and the elves. Sam, Merry, and Pippin return to the Shire. Sam becomes the mayor of the Shire for consecutive terms, showing that he's doing a good job. He's governing well, taking care of the hobbits and whatnot. Merry and Pippin, I don't remember a whole lot of what they do in that time, but they do their Merry and Pippin things, as they do. Sam, as I had stated, once he grows old, once Rosie ends up dying from old age, he's still alive. He is able to go to Valinor and live out the rest of his days. Merry and Pippin, when they die, so they go back to the Shire, they live their lives, what have you. When they die, their remains are actually taken to Minas Tirith, and they're laid to rest in basically the crypts of kings in Minas Tirith as like a great honor for their sacrifices they made for the world type of deal, you know. With Minas Tirith, Aragorn continues to rule over Minas Tirith and over Gondor. Aragorn refounds the kingdom of Arnor, which is the chunk of land north of Bree. All right. It's that chunk of land. So you have like Bree at the bottom of your map. You look over to the right of your map, you have Rivendell. To the left, you have the Shire. That chunk of land in between there, Aragorn refounds that country or that kingdom, which is where his people, the Dunedain, originally had their kingdom before it fell to the Witch King of Angmar and all that stuff earlier on. He refounds that kingdom. He rules over Gondor. I believe he rules over both, but he kind of puts someone in charge of Arnor to kind of rule in his stead, but they would still answer to him at the end of the day. As I had stated, Éomer ends up marrying the daughter of Prince Imrahil of Gondor, helping strengthen that bond, that alliance. When Aragorn dies at like 200-something years old. Aragorn is laid to rest next to Merry and Pippin in the tombs of the king, of the kings. Legolas and Gimli. Gimli goes with Legolas to Mirkwood, returning to the Greenwoods that it once was, and Gimli gets to see Legolas's home and all that kind of stuff.
Take him home to meet the parents.
Yeah. Gimli is actually as well given the Glittering Caves, which is those caves in the Two Towers that the refugees of Rohan hide in during the Battle of Helm's Deep. Okay. And he founds a new dwarven kingdom there. Oh, cool. And Legolas goes there and visits him and sees this new kingdom he has founded and whatnot. And when Gimli comes close to the end of his life, Legolas is still in Middle-earth. So one thing that Legolas is told in the books by Galadriel is avoid the sea. The call of the seagulls, or the noise of the seagulls, the sound of the birds, the sound of whatever, will call you back to Valinor. With Legolas going to Gondor to help, and they go down the river there after they take out the Corsairs, he hears the seagulls and whatnot. So after that moment, he ever presently has this longing to return to Valinor. But he's able to hold that back long enough to bring Gimli with him. So right there towards the end of Gimli's life, Legolas and Gimli get on a ship and return to Valinor, and Gimli lives out the rest of his life, the last few years or so, in Valinor with Legolas, and by that time Frodo and Sam and Bilbo would all have been dead by then. But that's what happens to those two, right? Am I missing anyone? Merry and Pippin, Frodo, Sam, Gandalf, we know, goes to Valinor as well. Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Éomer. Éowyn and Faramir end up getting married, starting family. Not Faramir becomes the steward of Gondor, taking his father's position, where they live their life and whatnot. I feel like I'm missing someone for some reason. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm missing someone. But anyways, past all of that, the dwarves, after the Fourth Age, retake Moria as Durin the Seventh is born, which part of a dwarven prophecy is once there's the birth of Durin the Seventh, they will reclaim their ancient kingdom of Moria, and that will start the decline of the dwarves. And so after that, the decline of the dwarves starts, and the dwarves, no one really knows what happens to them. It's assumed they die out in their mountain kingdoms and are never seen again. Hobbits slowly start to integrate with the rest of society or the rest of the kingdoms, which at this point is just men, right? and they start. I say interbreeding like it's a bad thing, but they start, like hobbits, men, they slowly come together, and it's kind of one of those things that, like, if this was a real thing that actually happened, it's to the point where, like, hobbits and men, the line that separates them gets thinner and thinner until we reach to where we are now, where it's like, oh, that person's short, they must have a little hobbit blood in them.
Gotcha.
Type of deal.
Yeah.
That person's a little tall. Maybe that person's a little, fairly tall. They might have a tiny shred of Dunedain blood in them.
Yeah.
Type of deal. And so over the course of time, it's basically like hobbits slowly fade away, quote unquote fade away, but in truth, it's a mixing of like the gene pools and that sort of thing, to where we would kind of get to where we are now. During the Fourth Age, there are more battles with Gondor and Rohan against like surviving orc bands and goblins in the mountains and stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things with the lore of like, this could have been the past, and we are where we are now because the elves left, the dwarves faded out, they returned to the earth. The hobbits and men lived in harmony with each other, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Huh.
Yeah,
cool.
And there's this whole like, there's the lore and the backstory of the world, but then there's like what happened after the events as well that kind of fills in that stuff. So
yeah, but that wraps up our coverage of the entirety of the Lord of the Rings movies, the Hobbit that preceded before that. And so that's that. We will probably right next be covering Rings of Power.
Which the Rings of Power is only 10 episodes anyways.
Yeah, that won't take too much.
It wouldn't take terribly long.
But after that, we'll move on to another topic, but we're going to hold off on announcing that, what that actually is.
Yeah. The Rings of Power is, just for a quick little background of it, the Rings of Power takes place during the Second Age. The Second Age, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, the Rings of Power takes place during the Second Age. With kind of like it's basically like, hence the name, the Rings of Power. The rise of Sauron, the rings that he gives to the men, elves, and dwarves. That whole story. It's got several iconic characters in it that we've heard about and stuff like that. I won't give any spoilers right now.
Yeah, we'll get into it, so stay tuned. But
I will say the only thing with it, and I'll kind of go over it as we start covering that, is there's like most of the named characters in that show, the big name characters, like we know their fate already. So it's like not necessarily like, does this character survive? It's like when is their end? When are they going to show their end type of deal. Yeah. But we'll get into all of that here soon. As we do so, and whenever season 2 of Rings of Power come out, we can always come back and do that one as well.
We'll return, so even after season 1 of Rings of Power, we're not done with Lord of the Rings. We'll come back to it, but this does wrap up the movies, at least.
There are the cartoon movies of Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbit, but it's just a cartoon version of the movies.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't necessarily need to stop us, but we are excluding that for now.
Yeah, and I mean, like, with those ones as well, anything that I've sat here and been like, that's not in the book, in these movies, same thing on that end. Yeah. So the cartoon movie of The Hobbit doesn't have like Legolas or Tauriel in them. Yeah. The cartoons of the Lord of the Rings movies, it's not Arwen that comes and gets Frodo after he's been stabbed. It's Legolas. Whereas in the books, it's a completely different elf. Yeah. So it's just some of that small stuff that they change is all, but it's still the same story. Yeah. So I don't think we really need to cover that because it would just be the same story. Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. I don't know. Like I've stated for the last 2 hours and 45 minutes, I am tired. So I think Plus, there's not really much more to say. So we'll see you whenever we come out with the next episode.
We do have the every 1,000 downloads for
Yep,
a blooper reel.
and there will be a blooper reel coming out somewhat soon.
Yeah.
We had a couple of them even in this recording.
Yeah, every 25 reviews, it's got to be 25 because we're 11 right now. Every 25 reviews will be a live stream coverage of whatever we're covering at the time. Like I just said, we are at 11, so get 14 more of those and we can do a live stream.
Yeah. Yep, and that'll be fun because we'll be able to answer your questions in real time. We'll be able to cover, you get to hear our bloopers as they happen and all the stupidity that goes into an episode that ends up getting edited out.
Because you can bet your butt at that point we don't need to do the whole time start thing because we're not recording it, we're live streaming it.
And also, I want to make a quick comment that I usually make a bunch of notes throughout an episode. And I have created myself a little note sheet that has a timestamp column and a note column that has let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rows total. And, well...
You almost filled all of
them. Okay, so there's 19. There's 19 because there's 4 columns total. Whatever. 19 out of 22. I have notes on because we're dumb.
I think like over half of those are yours too.
Shut up, I'm tired. Anyway, so yeah, that's good. Goodbye.